So guys, let's initiate with price determination under perfect competition, that is equilibrium price. So let's begin once again. What is that is price, how the price are being determined under perfect competition. So basically the price, demand, supply, and next that is analysis. I'll tell you how does it works. See, the price of the commodity, what is equilibrium price, we'll find out. The equilibrium price is that price where the demand and supply are exactly equal. At the price where the quantity demanded is exactly equal to quantity supplied, that price is called as a equilibrium price. Example, rupees 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now guys, let's focus. If you see guys, in the given scenario, that is how you tell me guys, what is the relationship between price and demand? The relationship between price and demand, they are inversely related. Quantity, demand, and price are inversely related. So example, if price is 10, the quantity demanded was 500 units. Okay, it basically was then 400, 300, 200, 100. What does it mean, sir? As the price is rising from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, the quantity demand is that is falling from 500 units to 400 to 300 to 200 to 100 respectively. Further, what is quantity supplied? What is the relation of price and quantity supplied? There is a direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. So as the price rises from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, the quantity supplied also rises from 100 units to 200 to 300, because there is a direct relationship between price and quantity supplied. And 500. Okay, so basically if you observe, we have found out our equilibrium price. So now, yeah, so basically if you see, 30 is the price where quantity demand is exactly equal to quantity supply. 30 is the price where quantity demand is exactly equal to quantity supply. So that way, if we see, we'll have to make the diagrammatic presentation also. So equilibrium price is 30 where quantity demand is equal to quantity supply, because equilibrium price is that price where demand is exactly equal to supply. So it is 30 price only. Analysis. Now what is analysis? If we observe here till here, if you observe till here, the demand plus supply, it is basically approximately 600 and one second, yeah, if we that is calculate, demand is 900 and supply is 300. This is demand is equal to 900. If we calculate both of them, and supply is our 300. So which is greater one? So demand is greater, supply is greater. Definitely, sir. Just a minute. So DD is greater than supply. So here demand is greater than supply. Next, that is here demand and supply both are 300. So here demand is exactly equal to supply. It is the only which is we are finding that it is called as a equilibrium. Next, if we calculate over here, demand is 300 and supply is 900. So here that is our DD. What's wrong with this? So here our DD is less than supply. So if we plot the same on graph, it will come across like this. X and Y. So let's start. Price, quantity demanded and supplied. Okay, 0. Price 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, now quantity supplied. Okay, 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500. Let's begin. See, let's first make the demand call. When the price was 10, demand was 500. Okay, so when the price was 10, demand was 500. Price was 20, demand was 400. Price was 30, demand was 300. Price was 40, demand was 200. And the price is, yeah, 50, the demand is 100. That way. Now, it is our demand curve. Now, let's make supply curve. And the price was, see, here I'm making from here. And the price is 10, supply is 100. And the price is 20, supply is 200. Price is 30, supply is 300. Price is 40, supply is 400. 500. That way. So it is going to function this way. So downward sloping is demand curve and upward sloping is supply curve. And this is the equilibrium price. Equilibrium price. Hence, this is the way the price is being determined under perfect competition. That is equilibrium. That is through demand and supply forces. So that way it would be. So yeah, ye apna ek aur topic has been done. So this I made it do. Yeah, so this was the case. Now we're going to study degree of price discrimination. Now we're going to study that is degree of price discrimination. Yeah. Let's study degree of price discrimination. See, A.C. Pigot, Professor A.C. Pigot has found out Professor A.C. Pigot has made the classification of 3 degrees of price discrimination. There are 3 types of price discrimination: first degree, second degree, third degree. Now, what is first degree price discrimination? It is basically charging different price to different consumers. It is a price discrimination, but charging different price to different consumers on the basis of their paying capacity. If I feel that the customer is willing to pay more of the commodity, example, I am charging different consumer on the basis of different their paying capacity. I feel that person's paying capacity is more, so I will charge him more. If I am a monopolist, if I feel this person's capacity is not that much, so I'll basically charge him an average price. So example. Let's go with an example only. Yeah. Example, first degree price discrimination, wherein it is also called as a perfect price discrimination, and where the prices are being charged on the basis of paying capacity. On the basis of paying capacity of consumers. Example, see, Mr. A was a seller of flower vase. Mr. P comes to shop. He is basically he's entering into shop, and while he was entering, he parked his Rolls Royce. He came from Rolls Royce. Mr. A got to know that he has a good paying capacity. He sold the same, that is flower vase, for rupees 1 crore to him. Next person came through cycle by. Mr. B cycle पे से आया. उसको उसने चार्ज किया 50 लाख रुपीज. नाउ बेसिकली सी conclusion is whenever a seller, that is whenever a monopolist charge you on the basis of your paying capacity, it is called as a price discrimination of first degree. It is also called as a perfect price discrimination. When the paying capacity on the basis of financial ability or paying capacity you are being charged a different price, it is called as a perfect price discrimination or first degree price discrimination. Next. Second, it is second degree price discrimination. Also called as block pricing. What happens in the case of block pricing is, I'll tell you. Mr. A, being the monopolist, he sells bottles. He sells plastic bottles. So what happens in the case of plastic bottles? Any customer who buy from him, a per bottle is rupees 100. Per bottle is rupees 100. Anyone who buy from his per bottle is rupees 100. Mr. A comes and asks for a bottle, rupees 100. B comes and asks from him is rupees 100. Okay, C also come and ask from him for 88 bottles. So now he asks him, please, I want some discount. So now what happened? Up to a certain point, up to a certain level, if you take one bottle, up to a certain point, for everyone that is price is same. Be it A, be it B, be it C. For everyone up to a certain point the price remains constant. That is, you'll have to pay rupees 100 itself. But after a certain point there would be a different price would be charged. So Mr. C, if he would have purchased one bottle, he would have to require to pay 100. But after a certain point, that is, he is purchasing now 88 bottles. So for him the per that is bottle, the price charge was being 80. So that way it is called as a charging a different price after a certain point. It is also called as a block pricing. That way it is. And third degree price discrimination. What happens in this case? Neither paying capacity is observed nor block pricing is being done. Here discrimination is being conducted on the basis of discrimination is being conducted on the basis of what? Here the discrimination is being conducted on the basis of elasticity of demand for a product. Example, elasticity of demand for a product. Example, I'll tell you. Perishable commodity. Just a second. The commodity. Oi bhai. Yeah, perishable commodity. Perishable commodity are less in nature. Basically, no, perishable commodity has a less durability. So what happens is, example, a vegetable vendor. So she is selling, example, a person that is a vegetable vendor, he is selling commodity of rupees, a bunch of palak for rupees that is 20 to everyone. But what is happening with that is the longevity or the life or the durability of the perishable commodity is less. So what is happening? If somebody is trying to bargain, she if find herself that it is profitable to her, she is making the deal at any price which has been getting to her. What I meant to tell you all कि अगर समझो बेसिकली अगर किसी प्रोडक्ट का इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड अगर मतलब बात करते हैं अपन, समझो इसका पेरिशेबल कमोडिटी, वेजिटेबल्स हो गया, फ्रूट्स हो गया, उनकी लाइफ शॉर्ट है, तो उनके लिए जो डिमांड है वो लेस इलास्टिक है या फिर वो इन इलास्टिक है, मतलब उनका ड्यूरेबिलिटी ज़्यादा नहीं है. तो अगर मैं एज अ सेलर, मेरे पास अगर कोई पर्सन आता है, बायर आता है फॉर बाइंग दैट कमोडिटी, तो मुझे लग रहा है ठीक है, अगर मैंने उसको बोले 50 में बेचूंगा, बट यस नहीं, आई वॉन्ट 10 to 30, एंड अगर वो 30 मेरे लिए प्रॉफिटेबल है तो मैं 30 में भी बेच दूंगा. ना मैं उस पर्सन का पेइंग कैपेसिटी देख रहा हूँ, ना मैं ब्लॉक प्राइसिंग कर रहा हूँ. सो इन दैट केस द डील कुड बी क्रैक्ड. नेक्स्ट नेक्स्ट पर्सन कम्स अगेन आई सिर्फ कि 50 रुपए का है बट ये 35 में दे दे, अगर मुझे परवड़ रहा है बिकॉज मेरी प्रोडक्ट की इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ डिमांड बहुत कम है, कहने का मतलब इसकी लाइफ ड्यूरेशन बहुत कम है, वरना बहुत खराब हो जाएगा एंड आई हैव टू बेयर द all loss. In that case, I am doing discrimination. I am charging different price to different consumer. I am doing price discrimination, but it is on the basis of elasticity of demand. ये ऐसा प्रोडक्ट है जो ये ऐसा प्रोडक्ट है जो अगर दैट इज नहीं बेचूंगा तो खराब हो जाएगा. In that case, I am charging different price to different consumer, and it is not on the basis of their person's paying capacity or I am doing block pricing. It is on the basis of product's elasticity or longevity. That way it is. So that way. So it is called third degree price discrimination. It is being given, mind you guys, the degree of price discrimination is being given by AC Pigo. ये किसने दिए थे? AC Pigo जी ने दिए थे. It was being given by AC Professor AC Pigo जी ने इसको that is किया था कौन कर. That way it was. Okay, moving forward. Okay guys, let's start with the next concept, that is money, types and features and functions of money. ठीक है, we're going to start the next, that is money module, and then we're going to money and banking. We'll complete banking also, and we'll also complete money market instruments that way. So let's move forward in the topic, that is money, its function and types. Okay, so basically guys, I'll basically make you sure that is कि आपको module से या फिर any of the study material you follow, please read the things which I'll ask you to, that is read, just read out, and the concept oriented things I'm going to cover in this topic. Okay, so let's move forward. That is, yeah, so previously before evolution of money, there existed something called as a barter system. That is, if I wanted to purchase something, I'll have to give something, and in return I'll get it was basically barter was goods for goods, that way. Further, there were, due to barter system, there were many difficulties which were arised in between. The transactions were not smooth in operation, reason being lack of double coincidence of want. There were many difficulties, lack of measure of value, store of value. Due to such kind of difficulties, further finally there was a evolution, or great evolution was being got into force, and that was money. The moment money was being brought into force, that is, it was goods for money. So basically you have to give money and in return you will get goods. So that was being conducted. Further, as we went ahead, there was different theories on money which are being put across. So there are different functions of money. So we'll have to understand, and yeah, so basically you have to basically read out them. You will be basically in a position to understand them. Yeah, okay. So please go through this, just difficulties of barter system, just go through once. And that is, yeah, okay, so there are 4 types of money. Yeah, 4 types of money. Let's do this. That is 4 types of money. There are basically commodity money, fiat money, fiduciary money, and commercial bank money. Sir, what is commodity money? Commodity money is one of the most oldest type of money. Sir, what is exactly commodity money is? It is the commodity money was being previously used in the times of barter system. It was basically, what happens was, in order to get another goods, I used to give a commodity in return. So there was not money, but there was a commodity which was being exchanged for another commodity. Let's see what was the exact thing of it. So no, it is the simplest and the oldest type of the money. It is difficult on scarce and valuable natural resources that act as a medium of exchange. Acha, if you remember, that is, there was a system called as a Raja Maharaja system or monarchy system used to exist. So there was precious coins or rare coins or articles were being given in order to purchase any commodity from the open market. See, here they have mentioned it is built on scarce or valuable natural resources that act as a medium of exchange, store of value, and unit of account. Commodity money is closely related to originate from a barter system. Yeah, as I made you aware, that is, example, I have, that is, 2 gold coins. I went to the market and I wanted to purchase wheat. So basically I got 2 gunny bags of wheat. So I give one commodity for the purpose of purchasing another commodity. It is called commodity money. Okay, so examples of commodity money include gold coins, beds, shells, spices, etc. That way. So basically I used to basically give articles, shells, I have basically quenches which I give, and in return I got the commodity. So basically commodity money is nothing but basically, in the time of barter system, there was the exchange of one goods for another goods. So rare articles or that is natural resources were being utilized for the purpose of purchasing commodity. Example, I wanted to buy rice. So I got, that is, 2 metallic coins was I had with me 2 metallic coins. I gave that to the person and I got the 2 bags of rice. So it was used. So previously the commodity money was being used in exchange, that way. Next, that is fiat money. Again. Fiat money, very important. Sir, what is fiat money? See, fiat money, in order to call a money as a fiat money, there must be formal authorization or declaration to call a something or an element or that is a material to be called as a used as money. I'll tell you. Example, in our circulation, we use something, we use that is, we use coins and currency notes. So they are issued by the Reserve Bank of India or Government of India, and there is a signature of governor on it. It means it is a legal tender. What does that fiat money means? Fiat money refers to, just a second, guys, just a second. Okay, so let's begin, guys. So what is fiat money? Again, I'll explain to you. So fiat money is basically a legal tender money, which is being legally authorized by the government of India or the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so basically what happens is, example, the coins and the notes which we used in our daily circulation or exchange or transactions are being legally authorized by the government authorities and Reserve Bank of India. So what happens is, example, you go into the market and you had rupees 10. That rupees 10, that is a piece of paper on which that is a sign of governor. That is that rupees 10 note is being formally authorized. Example, you wanted to purchase any commodity, you go and give rupees 10, you're going to get that commodity. So what does that mean? That piece of paper of rupees 10 is being formally authorized. It is a legal tender. It means any person can generally accept that price or accept that money from you or accept that piece of paper and give you the requisite commodity which you want, which must be of that measure of value. So what I mean to tell you all, fiat money is a legal tender money which is specifically being issued by the government of India or that is Reserve Bank of India. Example, rupees 10 notes, rupees 20 notes, 50 notes, 100 notes are being printed and issued by the government of India. So they are the formal notes, or they are the basically notes, or the basically currency which is being issued by government of India, and everybody in the country must use that commodity for the purpose of circulation in their operation. So what happened is, example, I went to a shopkeeper, I had 100 rupees note and I gave him that 100 rupees note, but he refused to give me any commodity. He cannot refuse me. The matter of fact is, the government of India has formally authorized this as a commodity, authorized this as a money. So basically, he will have to take this, or he'll have to accept that money and give me the commodity which I require. So basically, what I meant to tell you all, the fiat money is a legal tender money which is formally issued or authorized by government of India or Reserve Bank of India, and on the basis of which I can purchase any commodity or any services. Example, if I go to a shop and if it denies to do that, I can basically straight away file a complaint against that person that is not accepting this money, because this money is being allowed by the government of India to be accepted by each one of us. And if he is not accepting that, in that case, he can also be put into prison. Acha, now tell me what happens is, example, let's take this example. See, I have a piece of paper. Example, there are two, let's take a good example and understand it. This one student named as, called as Arav. And also one student called as Gary. See, now understand this very nicely. Mr. Arav has the note. Okay. Mr. Arav has a note of rupees 500 which is being issued by the government of India. Basically, that is authorization of government of India, that is Reserve Bank of India. The note was being issued and it is a legal tender money, that it has all the governor's signature, everything is being complete in all the respect. Now, Mr. Arav went to a shop and he purchased a t-shirt for him, and the shopkeeper also took the money from him and that is delivered t-shirt to him. So it was basically a transaction here was completed. Now Mr. Gary saw this transaction from that is distance, and he also saw that I shall also do the same. He went to his place and basically he took the piece of paper. He takes that piece of paper and writes upon it 500 rupees. And again, it was just a notebook paper which he write upon that 500 and goes to the same shopkeeper and says, I also want the same t-shirt which the boy purchased now. So basically what happened is, does this Gary going to get the t-shirt? Definitely not, because this this money or basically this paper is not being authorized by the government of India. It is not a fiat money. Even though basically it is written, thereupon it is being written as 500. It is not a legal tender. So fiat money is the money which is being formally authorized or legally authorized by the government of India and Reserve Bank of India, bearing a signature of the governor, stating that it is a legal tender. Everybody must accept for the general acceptability. So in the year given case RF, that is circulated rupees 500 and which was generally acceptable. But in the case of Gary, he just made a note of himself, so it is not allowed to be done so. So here his note, it was not no note at all, or it was not a currency at all. It was just that is a piece of paper. So here it is also a piece of paper, but this piece of paper in the case of RF was authorized, but this piece of paper was not authorized. Hence it is not a legal tender. It is a legal tender, hence it is called as a fiat money. That way it is. Okay, let's move ahead. Acha. Guys, tell me, the piece of paper, the worth of that piece of paper, that paper remains paper only. That paper remains paper unless and until there is a declaration by the government of India. Now its face value, 500 is worth more than its actual paper value. The piece of paper, that piece of paper's worth is rupees 1 or 2 rupees. But the matter of fact is, when it is being formally authorized in the form of 500 rupees note, now its worth has got increased. So its actual value, that piece of paper, that is called as intrinsic value. Its piece of paper's value is less, but the moment it is written on its face 500, its face value is more. So that way, in fiat money, intrinsic value is less as compared to its face value. The value of the worth or value of that paper is not much. The moment it is being written 500 upon it, its worth or value gets incremented. That way it is. So fiat money is that money which is being formally authorized or declared by the government of India or Reserve Bank of India, and everybody or every citizen of the country or the respective countries must accept in the exchanges or transactions, and anyone who resent or restrain from accepting that would be put behind the bars. That way. And in this case, its intrinsic value. Intrinsic value means the value of the paper is less as compared to the face value. Face value means the value, this 500 rupees. It's its face value. Previously, it was just a piece of paper having the value of rupees 1 or 2 rupees. But the moment it is being written as rupees 500, its value got increases. So basically, its intrinsic value, if you see that its intrinsic value is less than its face value. That way. See here. The term fiat means formal authorization or proposition of a decree. This means the fiat money gets its value from a government order. Here the government declares fiat money to be legal tender. It means that everybody is required to accept that money or concerned money into the day-to-day transactions. If they fail, they may be fined or even put into prison. अगर आप नहीं लोगे तो आपको that is जेल में डाल दिया जाएगा. अच्छा, fiat money is not backed by any physical commodity. नहीं. Here, by definition, its intrinsic value is significantly lower than its face value. Some of the examples of fiat money are coins and bills. So that way it is. So the value of the coins, example, the coins of coins and metals, they are not much worthy. But the moment it is being written 200 rupees, 100 rupees, or the moment that paper is not worth it enough. But the moment it is being written 500, 2000 upon it. Now the 2000 it is not into circulation. It is being stopped by the government of India. But its value get incremented the moment it is being formally declared. It is called fiat money. The fiat money is that money which is being specifically declared by the government of India, and every citizen of the country is required and must accept into its circulation. Next, that way. Fiduciary money. Now guys, what is fiduciary money? Fiduciary money, it is in the form that it is basically not fiduciary money is basically not something which is called as a fiat money. It is not a legal tender altogether. However, dealing in fiduciary money is not illegal. Example, fiduciary money is the money which is being paid or given on the basis of trust relationship. I'll tell you how. Example, I want to take an admission in a coaching classes. So I went to them and I said them I'm going to pay through check. So check, basically they are keeping trust on me that there is a fiduciary relationship between us. That is, they are keeping trust on me that this person who is giving me check will clear the check or honor the check. That way. So fiduciary money is money which lies upon the trust. It is not a legal tender, but it is a form of optional money. So that way you can accept. Let's say for example, see here. By the term fiduciary, it is meant the involvement of trust, especially with the regard to relationship between trustee and a beneficiary. I would be trustee and that person would be beneficiary. That is why fiduciary money depends for its value on the confidence that will be generally accepted. Let's say, for example, a student was supposed to pay a fees to me. He said, sir, I can't pay in cash, but I will pay you through check. So he came to me and he got that check and he paid that and he gave that check to me. Now it is on a trust that he will clear the check on the due date or on the date which is presented therein. So that way it works out. So basically, the fiduciary money is money which is basically, it is not legal tender altogether, but it is in the form of option. If you wanted to accept in cash, you can accept cash. If you wanted to accept in something which is called fiduciary money, go ahead with that. That way. So good example is check, bank notes and draft. That way. Yeah. Okay. Next, that is first we did something which was commodity money. Commodity money was the money which was being used at the time of ancient period when the barter system used to exist. One commodity was being exchanged for the purpose of purchasing another commodity. Example, if I wanted to purchase something which is called as any equipment or any that is food item, so I used to give that is something which is called as a gold coin, silver coins, or the metals was being exchanged for the purpose of purchasing commodity. Nextly, something called as a fiat money got into existence. Fiat money is a money which gets a legal declaration or authorization from the government of India or the Reserve Bank, and on its declaration as a fiat money, everybody in the country is required, everybody in the country or is required to accept the same. That way it is. Okay. So everybody in the country is required to accept the same once it is being declared as a legal tender. Nextly, guys, that is so fiat money, the value of the fiat money, that its value, its paper value is less as compared to its face value. The paper costed 2 rupees, but the moment it is being printed as 500 note and signed by that is governor, its worth got incremented. So its intrinsic value is less, but its face value is more. Next, that is something just called fiduciary money. So guys, what is fiduciary money? Fiduciary money is such a type of the money which is given on the basis of trust or confidence upon another person. Example, a student came to me, he was proposing to pay the fees of rupees 50,000 to me, which he said, sir, I would not be able to make the payment through cash, but I will definitely make the payment through something called as check or a draft or bank draft. Okay. So on a trust, I have accepted, I have a confidence upon to that student or a person that he will honor the check on the due date. So that is what is something called as a fiduciary money. Next, commercial bank money. Now what is commercial bank money? I'll tell you. Commercial bank money, guys, it is not actual money. It is a bank balance or saving deposit or basically a money which is held into the account. Okay, in the form of loans, saving deposit, fixed deposit. I'll get you. Let's come to this. Okay, so now it is described as a claim against financial institution that can be used to purchase goods and services. It represents the portion of currency that is made of a debt generated by commercial bank. Debt generated commercial bank, it is nothing but loan. More specifically, commercial bank money is created through what we call fractional reserve banking, which is a process where commercial banks give out loan worth more than the value of the actual currency they hold. Any type of loan by the commercial bank may be termed as a commercial bank money. I'll tell you what is exactly commercial bank money. Let's say, for example, I am in heavy need of money. And I went to bank and I said, bank, in my bank account there is only 2,000 rupees, but I wanted to basically purchase some good car. So for that I require some money. Now commercial bank gave me some money. Now that money is nothing but basically commercial bank money. It is in the form of loan. So any type of the loan, it is termed as a commercial bank money. People feel commercial bank money something which is called as checks, draft. No, it is not like that. Commercial bank money is something which is in the form of loan. The loan is given to me. If the loan was given to me through check, now this commercial bank money itself is will become basically that check. Now the check was being given on, that is a fiduciary money. We got that concept, but it is something which is called commercial bank money. It is in the form of loan. I'll tell you exactly how does it works. Example, I went to bank and I wanted to purchase or I wanted to buy a property. So in that case, I said, bank, I am in need of money. Please grant me some loan. So now the bank is granting me loan. So the loan amount could be directly credited to my bank account, or it could be given to me by bank in the name of builder that I wanted to basically, in the name of promoter or in the name of that is apartment holders names. So basically I wanted to purchase a property. Okay, so I want 40 lakh rupees. So 40 lakh rupees was being asked by me. So it is a loan which is sanctioned to me. So the moment that loan is sanctioned to me, it is called commercial bank money. That's it. For by far you can understood, by far you basically have to understood this concept in this respect only. Okay, so basically commercial bank money, it is nothing but in the form of loan amount of money which has been created to your bank account. Okay, moving ahead. Any type of loan by the commercial bank may be termed as a commercial bank money. Please remember this line. Any type of loan by the commercial bank may be termed as a commercial bank money. Next, features of money. Now, components of money supply. Guys, money supply includes, okay. Guys, broadly speaking, there are two types of money. That is one which is being issued by central bank and another which is being created by commercial bank. So there are two components of money. See, you guys tell me, money issuing authority in our country there is two. Yes, currency notes are being issued by Reserve Bank of India. But whereas in the case of coins and 1 rupee note is being issued by Government of India. Okay, so in a country, the Reserve Bank, central bank issues currency. Currency consists of paper, notes and coins. In India, RBI, which is the central bank of the country, issues notes of denomination 2000, which is not now in practice, 500, 100, 50, 20 and 10 rupee. The 1 rupee notes and coins are issued by Finance Department of the Government of India. That way. So कहने का तात्पर्य ये है आप सभी लोगों से कि अपने कंट्री में जो नोट्स इशू करते हैं वो रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया होता है एंड अपने कंट्री में जो नोट एंड करेंसी 1 रुपी नोट एंड जो करेंसीज दैट इज अपने कॉइन्स इशू करते हैं दैट इज नथिंग बट अपने फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट दैट इज गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया होता है दैट वे. Demand deposits created by commercial bank. What is demand deposit? You demand and you get the deposit. I'll tell you how. Saving account, current account, you go and demand. I put inside my cart. The moment I swipe the card, I demanded the cash. It's called demand deposits. I'll tell you how it is. See, bank deposits, any form of bank deposits are prominent component of money supply. Commercial bank creates credit. We're going to study this in depth. That is what is called creation of credit. What is the creation of credit? Who creates the credit? How the credit has been created? We're going to study this in a very, very, very depth manner. Okay. Now, monetary aggregates. 90% of people struggle into this thing. 90% of people struggle into something called as the money aggregate. What is the definition of money? What is money exactly? So we're going to study in a very layman language. Very, very layman language. I'll make you study something which is called as a money aggregates or definition of money. I call it as a definition of money. There is a broader definition of money. There is something called as a narrow definition of money. What exactly it is? Let's initiate with the lecture. Okay, let's move forward. Guys, tell me what is money? Okay, so for me, sir, previously at a very previous parlance, the money was nothing but primarily one thing called as a currency. What's called as a currency? The most liquid form of money was currency. Having currency in my hand, having currency that is having 500 rupees, having 2000 rupees, having 1000 rupees. It is the most basic form of definition for me as currency. Next day, there was some evolution occurred and people started having the awareness about keeping the money, not all the money into hand, but also some into bank. So that is also money, this is also money. Money, cash in hand is also, that is money, and cash at bank is also money. Again, that is something which is called further, the definition of money got expanded. If I have 500 at my hand, that is also money. If I had 2000 rupees into my bank account, that is also money. That is called demand deposits. It was the most narrow definition of money. That is, currency in hand is money. Also currency at the bank account is also money. That is called currency plus demand deposit. So M1 is equal to currency plus demand deposits. Further, the definition of money got widened and many more things were being added. I'll tell you. Example, I am in need of money. I have excess amount of money, which in reality does not. I have an excess amount of money and I wanted to keep this money for up to period called as 1 year. I do not, or 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I do not wanted to keep into the form of FD for long duration. No, I wanted to keep it for a short term period. So basically, I went to bank and went through a lot of schemes. So wherein one scheme allowed me to keep my money for a period called as 8 months, which is within 1 year. So again, what did I do? I had 5,000 in my hand, currency, that was money. I had in my saving account 4,000 rupees, again demand deposit, currency, and I kept 5,000 in a separate account, that was a FD account for 6 months. It was again called as a money. That is again called as money. I'll tell you. So money, M1, there is M2, again includes M1. M1 मतलब क्या? It's currency plus demand deposits plus deposits. Deposits, it could be any name. You take any name of deposit, call, option, any, that is call, call money, notice money, that way. Deposits up to maturity period of 1 year. Next, further, after some duration, the basic definition of money, the narrowest definition of money was currency, cash in hand and cash at bank, currency plus demand deposit. Further, the definition of money or the aggregates of money got expanded. Currency was also money, demand deposit was also money, and also something called as deposits which are maturing over 1 year. Deposits which are maturing within 1 year, that is within 1 year. If I keep money for 6 months, again it will come into M2, that is deposits up to maturity period of 1 year. If I keep money, that is something called as for 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 2 months, 3 months, it is again will be called as a deposits which are maturing up to 1 year. Again it will be counted into M2. So for the first, the money, the concept of money, definition of money was currency, then that is a demand deposit, and demand deposits or basically deposits maturing up to 1 year. Further, the definition got widened, that is M3 got M2 plus, that is currency is also money, demand deposit also money, deposit maturing within 1 year is also money, plus deposits by any name you take, time, liability, portion, anything, deposits maturing period over 1 year is also money. Within 1 year is money, over 1 year is also money. Now the definition of money got broadened. So first M1, it is something which is basically called as a narrow definition, and now the definition of money got broadened, that is it is called as a broader definition. That way it was clear hai? Yeah. So M3 is equal to M2 plus demand deposits or deposits maturing over a period of 1 year. That way, within 1 year is, that is M2, and more than 1 year it is M3. So that way, now the definition of money is widened. It is a narrow definition, broadened. That way, M3 is M2 plus deposits maturing period of 1 year. So it M2 includes M1 also. It means currency भी आ गया, demand deposit भी आ गया, up to 1 year भी आ गया, और more than 1 year भी आ गया. It is called money aggregates concept. So that way, please remember, that is M1 is narrow money and M3 is the broader money. Is the broader money. That way it is. Okay. Let's go into notes. See. India mostly M3 is used. Yes, definitely. अपने country में M3 used होता है. That way. Moving forward. Yeah, moving forward. Okay, so let's move forward. That is, we're going to start with the value of money concept. Okay, so basically value of money, price, we're going to understand and study this in very depth manner. What is exactly that is the types of concept of basically money, its theories, Irving Fisher's theory. We're going to study in depth and detail, and that would be really, really important for you. That way, okay, chalo. First, let's understand what is called Gresham's law. See, one MCQ could be expected from this area. See, it is not that much important for you, but basically I'll make you know that is what is Gresham's law in a very layman language. I'll tell you what is Gresham's law. Example. Professor Gresham was a financial advisor or financial manager for Queen Elizabeth. Professor Gresham was a great personality. He basically have got many theories out, and this person basically was a financial advisor or manager for this one. He used to manage the wealth of this one apni. That is apni in essence, that was Elizabeth, the Queen Elizabeth. Gresham's law. So what does he say? I'll tell you example. A very ground level example I'll give it to you, and it would be really easy for you to understand. Example, you have rupees 10 notes. You have rupees 10 note, and again you have rupees new 10 note. It was an old note and it is a new note. Okay, so we can call it as a old currency, old money, and it is your new money. Yeah. Okay. What happened is the moment we get some new coins, or the moment you get some attractive coins, what we do, we keep with ourselves. We kept that money in with ourselves, and the old money is now being used in the market for the purpose of transactions. So what is happening? Due to the emergence of new money, what are we doing? We are keeping new money with ourselves. We are not spending that into the market, but we are spending old money. So what is happening? Due to old money, the old money was being used more into transaction. The old money is now being used more in transaction, but the new money is kept with ourselves. So basically we are restricting its circulation. So what happens? This psychology was being observed by Gresham law. So what did it say? It stated that the bad money drives out new money. So bad money is brought into circulation, and the new money is not got into circulation. So new money is kept, that is what we, it is kept out of circulation. It is not got into circulation. So what is into circulation? It is old money. We should not do that. We should utilize all the money that way. Should not keep with ourselves. That is not that does not means we do not do saving. Saving is different part. What are we doing? We are withholding. We are withholding that new money because it's so attractive. People do that. New money notes are being kept, and the old currency notes are being used in the transactions. So it is called Gresham's law. The behavior was being observed by Gresham's law. That way it is. So it is a simple law. If we see, okay, see, yeah, छोटू सा लॉ था ये. See, bad money drives good money out of circulation. What does that means? More that is all the people, that is the people in the citizen of the people of the country. What does they do? They use more and more amount of that is bad money, that is old money are being used more, and the new money is being withheld by them. So it is called as a bad money drives good money out of the circulation. That way it is. So this was the thing which was being put across by. So if a country uses both money as well as metal money, the people use the paper and hold the metal money. Yeah. Example basically, if there is a paper money and metal money, and the metal example we used is something called as a gold. So what people will do? People will keep that gold money with our with themselves, but they will use more of something called as a paper money. So what is something which is being practiced in the cases, that is when there is an emergence of new money. That is new money into the market. People try to take that new money and they spend the old money, and new money is being kept the same way. That, and it goes on and on. So it is what is something which is called bad money drives the old money out of circulation. Nextly, the most what I called it as the most tricky thing which student finds, hence which isn't reality, in reality which is not. So it is something as a quantity theory of money. I'll make you understand what is quantity theory of money. The quantity theory of money was being given by Professor Irving Fisher. What he explained, that is MV is equal to PT. So what is MV is equal to PT? In basic language, MV is nothing but money supply, and PT is something called demand for money. Let us understand a word by word. Demand for money. Quantity theory of money deals with the relationship between quantity of money and the price level of economy. Acha, there is a relationship which is being explained by Irving Fisher, that is quantity of money and price level. What is the relation between them? I'll make you understand, and then we'll move forward. Okay, so see, that is the equation of Irving Fisher is nothing but MV is equal to, please keep this equation really into your head. Please make sure that you are fit with this equation, that is called MV is equal to PT. MV is nothing but money supply, and PT is nothing but money demand or demand for money. Acha, collectively MV is called money supply, and collectively PT is called demand for money, but individually they have got some different annotations also. That is M, that is money supply. V, that is velocity of money. What is the meaning of velocity of money? Velocity of money refers to how many times the money is changing its hand. The number of time money is changing its hand, it is called as a velocity of money. Example, rupees 100 note. It is being circulated, it is being used in transaction for 5 times. It is called velocity of money will be 5. If rupees 1000 note, which was in existence, but it is now, it is not now is the case. Example, basically rupees 1000 note is changing hand for 10 times. It is called velocity of money will be velocity of money will be 10. So P, that is price level, we're going to talk more about it, and T, that is total output. Okay, total output, that is the quantity of the goods and services produced in the country. That way. Now let's get into it. Now Fisher used the equation to show the relation between money supply and price level as direct. Acha, I'll tell you how does it works. Example, you tell me guys, what happens is, there are two situations. Either there would be rise in price, okay, or either there would be fall in price. If there is a general rise in price, it will be inflationary. And if there is a fall in price, general fall in price, it would be deflationary. Which among the things are is good? None of them. There should be monetary stability. Neither there would be inflationary situation, nor there should be deflationary position. There must be monetary stability. So how do we basically calculate, or what is the exact thing Fisher is trying to tell us? Let's get into the concept. Suniye. Quantity theory of money, explained by Professor Irving Fishers. Explained by Professor Irving Fishers. So in the given scenario, Professor Irving Fisher, what does he do? He said MV is equal to PT, where MV is nothing but money supply and PT is nothing but demand for money or money demand. Collectively it is being named as that way. Further, M is money supply, just a second. Yeah, just a confirmation was being required. Money supply. V, that is velocity of money. What is the velocity of money? Velocity of money is nothing but the number of times the money is changing hands. Rupees 100 note is changing hands for 5 times. So velocity of money is 5. 10 times. So basically it is changing hand for a 10 times, velocity of money will be 10. P, that is a hero thing. P, that is price level. And T, that is total output. In Fisher's equation, total output is the quantity of the goods and services which can be bought in a given year. That way it is. I'll tell you what happens is, it is assumed that these both are constant, that is V and T are constant. There is a change only in two factors, that is money supply and price level. Now the relationship was being explained by the Fishers between money supply and price level. See, I'll give you one good example, and due to which, with the help of which you will be able to understand. Example, there is a seller, Mr. Atif, sells shoes. Example, he sells the same commodity which he basically have in lunch, dinner, breakfast, that way. Yeah. So basically he is selling shoes. Now what happened is, a price of shoes previously was 1000 rupees. It was previous price. Now it has been raised to rupees. Now it has been raised to rupees 5000. Guys, tell me, whenever there is an inflation in country, whenever there is an inflation in country, does it really increase our income? No, it never increases our income. Example, today, that is I am teaching in the Jakesha coaching classes. Tomorrow there is a inflation, so the next month my salary would not get increased. Or if the previous month there was an inflation, so in that month my salary was not getting increased. So basically salary income remains the same. If there is an increase in price level, your expenditure increases, but not your income. Okay, so let us understand the example. Mr. Atif used to sell the shoes for rupees 1000 previously. After some days, he started selling the shoes for rupees 5000 because there was a inflation, there was a rise in price. Now you tell me guys, the moment the price has got raised, income, that is the level of money in the economy is flowing more. Previously for the same commodity, the price charge was 1000, and for the same commodity now the price charges for 5,000. The 4,000 more are being circulating. Can I say the value of 1,000 has got decreased? First, rupees 1,000 has the ability to purchase one pair of shoes. Now rupees 5,000 has got the ability to purchase one shoes. It means the rupees 1,000 has lost its ability. It means that due to rise in price, the value of money got decreased. The value of money got fall. Once again, one more example. There's a Mr. Dev, my son too. Take care, Mr. Dev. What happened to him? Example. He has the income of rupees 1,000. He had the income of rupees 1,000. पहले भी और बाद में भी. His father, that is I, gave him that is something which is called as pocket money. He has a 1,000 rupees income. Now he's really fond of getting so much of clothes. I know my kid. Okay, so basically he went to shop and the price of the t-shirt was rupees 250 previously. So you tell me guys, the price was 250. How much quantity he can buy? Sir, he would definitely be able to buy 4 quantity. Further, the price was increased. From 250, it was increased to rupees 500. Now he is able to buy only 2 quantities. Sir, what happened? Due to price level, the value of money got decreased. Previously, 1,000 rupees has the ability to purchase 4 quantity of commodity. But now, due to inflation, due to rise in price, the ability of 1,000 rupees has got diminished. That is, it could now only purchase only 2,000, only 2 quantity. So basically, as the price increases, value of money decreases. That way, previously 1,000 has the ability to purchase 4 quantity. Now rupees 1,000 has the ability to purchase only 2 quantities. So that way it is being worked out. So having said that, there is an inverse relationship. There is an inverse relationship between price level, inverse relationship between price level and inverse relationship between price level and price level and value of money. As the price increases, value of money decreases. That way it would be. Yeah, okay. Now you guys tell me again, coming back to example. Okay, Mr. Atif used to sell shoes. Per shoes, the price for per pair of shoes was rupees 1,000. Previously, he used to sell 1 pair, he used to get 1,000. 2 pairs, 2,000. 3 pairs, 3,000. Now, selling 1 pair of shoes, previously he used to fetch him rupees 1,000. But now, selling 1 pair of shoes is getting him 5,000 rupees. Now, the quantity of money, the supply of money in his pocket has got increased. So basically, as the price increases, no doubt, value of money decreases. But as the price increases, the money supply also increases. That way it is. Money supply also increases. I hope you guys are getting it. What is money supply? Previously for the same commodity, his pocket was full by 1,000. Now for the same commodity, he is getting 5,000. The money supply is getting increased, or the quantity of money is getting increased. So this was being explained, or the behavior was being explained by Professor during Fishers. That way it is. So what about velocity and total output? We have a that is bone to pick with over there. Yeah, let's go over there. Yeah. See. There is a direct or proportional relationship between money supply and price level. It means that as the price level increases, quantity of money supply in country also increases, because now the more money is flowing into the country. Now previously for 1 pair of shoes he was taking only 1,000. Now for 1 pair of shoes he is taking 5,000. So more money is getting flow into the market. That way there is an inverse relationship between what? First money supply and value of money. Yeah. As the money supply increases, as the supply of money increases in the country, its value start to diminish. And next, this is the main thing, that is, as the price increases, value of money. gets decreased. That value of money got decreased. Yeah, that way. So we completed this. Now move forward. Assumption. See, as I told you, GNP, that is gross national product. GNP is constant, velocity is constant. I show you in starting only. Yeah. And theory assumes only the money demand for transaction purpose only. It is only for transactional purpose. There are various purpose that is called transactional purpose, investment purpose. Again, that is keeping it for saving. As all the transaction, basically, it is assumed that money is being expended. So whatever the money is being brought, it is all being expended. Whatever the money you get, you are not saving anything. You're just using all the money. Do you really feel it is the assumption? No, it is the assumption which is being taken by doing fishes, but it is not realistic base. The amount of money which you earn, you will never spend all the money. And even if you're spending it all the money, basically you'll make sure at least a rupee, or basically out of 100, a rupee is at least being saved. In that proportion, you will save some sort of money. But here it is being assumed the demand for transaction, but everything is being used in the transactions. So they go criticism. What are the criticism he faced? See, Fisher's equation is abstract and mathematical truism. It does not explain process by which M affects P. It is the matter of fact is what is exactly they're trying to say. It is basically in the form that is, it is something which is called as, it is really good to hear all these things, but it is not exactly true. It is based on unrealistic assumptions and all that. It is mathematically correct. It is abstract, unrealistic assumption. It is based on really unrealistic assumptions. So that way it is presumed that M is used in buying entire M, that is entire money supply is used in buying tea instantly. It means if I earn rupees 1 lakh, I will spend rupees 1 lakh instantly. No, it is not like that. It is unreal. I will save some sort of money. No one spends all the money the moment he earns it. No, it will not be like that. I got 1 lakh now. Tomorrow I will sell it everything. No, it does not works like that. I cannot spend all the sort of money. That way it is. So it is unreal. It is being assumed by Irving Fisher that whatever a person earns, he is going to spend it as soon as he earns that. So it is not the case. Moving forward. The concept of full employment is myth. There is a natural rate of unemployment in every country. You tell me guys, the employment concept is being taken into consideration, but unemployment is not being taken into consideration by this one, Irving Fisher. He has talked nothing about something called as a employment and unemployment, but it is assumed that he is taking into consideration every person in the country is earning some or the other thing. No, in the country called as India, developing country, we have the highest, one of the highest or populated country in the world. There exists a large amount of population. There exists at least a substantially large amount of population which is unemployed. So that way it is. So in every country there is some or the other sort of rate of unemployment which is not being taken into consideration. Is our criticism. One of the most unrealistic assumption is that is entire M, that is entire money cannot be used or which can be spent for the purpose of buying the total product. So it does not exist like that. And next, in every country there exists some sort of amount of unemployment. So full employment never exists that way. At least 1 or 2% of at least, no, it's basically again a myth, a mythetical term called as 1 or 2%, but absolutely there exists certain amount of certain sum of unemployment in every country has been in existence that way. Okay, let's move forward. Yeah. It is presumed that money is used for transactions only, hence the theory is often referred to as a cash transaction theory. This ignores the roles of the money. Yes, there are other roles of money. What is being, that is credit transactions can also be created. It can be store of value. There are different functions and roles of money which are being ignored over here. So what I mean to tell you all, that is only cash transactions does not exist. The credit transaction which can also be existed. So only cash transactions are being taken into consideration. So that way it was. So concluding, what I meant to conclude with you all, that yeah, Irving Fisher has given an equation something called as MV is equal to PT. MV is called as a money supply and PT is called demand for money, or basically called as a money demand. Yeah. Next, M individually is money supply again. V, that is velocity of money. Next, P, that is price level or general price level. Next, T, that is total output, okay, or transactions conducted during the year. Yeah. So what it is being assumed by him, that this is constant, velocity is constant, and total product in every country or every year it is constant. No, it is not constant. Every year the amount of output could not be constant. It also depends upon the level of employment. In a that is in a year one you have a huge amount of employment. In year two there is a considerable increase in unemployment. If unemployment increases means employment decreases, so employment decreases, so ultimately output will also decrease that way. And next, there is a relationship between money supply and price level was being put onto the table. That is, as the price increases, money supply will also increase that way. And as money supply increase, if anything which beyond, अगर आपका supply बढ़ जाएगा तो आपकी value गिर जाएगी that way. Value of money will fall. Next, and as price increases, value of money also decreases. अगर price बढ़ेगा तो value of money गिर जाएगा that way. I given an example of Dev that way. So basically so previously was buying t-shirt for rupees 250. He was able to buy 4 quantity. His income was 1000. His price per t-shirt was 250. Now the price is being increased to 500. He is now able to buy only 2 quantity. So as the price level increases, as the price level increases, as the price level increases, the value of money decreases. That way it is. So previously, just a second. Previously 1000 has the ability to buy 4 quantity, now the 1000 has the ability only to buy 2 quantities. So it is what is something which is called as the price increases, value of money decreases. What's wrong with this thing? Yeah, okay, moving forward. I hope you guys are clear with this. Okay, moving to the next concept, Cambridge cash balance approach. Okay, guys, let's move forward. So the next concept would be Cambridge cash balance approach. So this Cambridge cash balance approach, again it is a quantity theory of money, but Cambridge cash balance approach or cash balance equation, which we call it as such, it have a slight level of difference. What Irving Fisher says, he said that is money supply is equal to demand for money, and then he said there is an inverse relationship between price level and value of money. Literally describe that things. Also, it has some assumptions which stated that T, that is total output or total transactions conducted in a year, that all the money which you earn you will going to spend in the same year. It was being said. But here in quantity theory of money, in the case of Cambridge approach or Cambridge cash balance approach, it is going to be slightly different than what it was being stated in the cases of the previous one. So let's see what is exactly meant to it. Okay, let's go forward. Yeah, see over here, that is quantity theory of money, cash balance approach or Cambridge equation. Now the equation is equal to M is equal to PKT. M again money supply, but here money supply for a specific period of time, generally 1 year. P, that is price level. K, that is cash balance. It is the part of the total income. Yes, cash balance. T, that is total output. Acha, if you remember, K, that is cash balance. It was not being basically an assumption, that is in the case of Irving Fisher. What did he say? He said that as the the moment you earn the income, you spend it all of it. You do not spare any level of income for you do not basically keep any income aside to it. What do? You the moment you earn rupees 1 lakh, you will immediately use that total 1 lakh rupees. So you don't basically keep any money aside to it. So here it is not being taken as such. Here the cash balance is also taken into consideration. T, that is total output. Now, however, Fisher's version and the Cambridge version of the theory are not exactly same. They are not exactly same. There is a small difference. What it is? The total transactions in the market in a year, that is T, may not exactly the same as total output of the year. Over here they are talking about. Why? One reason for this is that all the output of a year may not come to the market in that year. On the other hand, a good sold in a given year may not have been produced in that year. Now please understand what I mean to tell you all. Aram se. Okay. See, in a given case, how they have that is mentioned, that is Cambridge cash balance approach. In Cambridge cash balance approach, what was happened? See, he said that is T, that is total output. Transactions in a year. All that it was more of transactional behavior. And next, in the case of Cambridge, it was Irving Fisher's thing. He said total output and also money supply for a specific period. Now you tell me, if I wanted to calculate money supply for a specific period, I will take the total output for that period itself. Barabar? Here they have mentioned clearly money supply, that is M is equal to P K T, whereas M is equal to money supply for specific period. P, that is price level. K, that is cash balance. T, that is total output. Now, what here it basically means? Here it basically says that I want to compare money supply. So money supply for a specific period can only be counted of the transactions conducted during that period. So basically I got the money supply of rupees, example 3 lakh rupees, and the output sold was 30,000. But if you see, output sold was 30,000, example, it's a mistake. Yeah, output sold was of 30,000 quantity. If I say money supply for that period, it is not total money supply for that period. It is money supply. It also includes money value of the previous period. Sir, how did you got determined? I'll tell you. Because in this year, 30,000 quantity was being sold. But this 30,000 quantity, guys, this 30,000 quantity does not belong to this year only. It has got some unsold stock of the previous year. It means guys, see, again, I'll bring it on to the next page. Oi bhai, ho ja. Chalo. Yeah. See. So as per Cambridge approach, he talks that money supply for a period or for a specific period and total output. Okay. So basically the total output we take into consideration if I count money supply for a specific period. So let's say for example for year 2023 and 2024, there was a closing stock of 30,000 rupees. Okay, which became opening stock of 30,000. Also there was production which was occurred, and totally that was 70,000 stock which was occurred, and finally at the end of the time, that is during the year, 1 lakh units was being produced. Total 1 lakh units was being there. So it was 30,000 of previous year and 70,000 of the current year. The current year production was being made or purchase was being made, whatever the case is. Now, out of this 1 lakh, example, 60,000 quantity were being sold. So guys, you tell me, if the 60,000 quantity were being sold, it is assumed that is they will sell first the commodities which of the last year. So basically the revenue which was generated, example was 6 lakh rupees. So this 6 lakh rupees revenue which was being generated, it is not of the same year. The 6 lakh rupees money supply existed in 2024. It does not belong to only 2024. It also has some portion of unsold stock of the previous year. So money supply for this period would be after eliminating these things. That way it is. So here it is something which is called as bifurcation was made. Whereas Irving Fisher does not put any bifurcation. He said all the transactions conducted in a given year. That way, कोई भी transactions conduct हुए चलेंगे. But यहाँ पे he made a bifurcation. Total output for the, that is transactions में bifurcation current year के कौन से और previous year के कौन से. The bifurcation was being made by Cambridge, but the bifurcation was not being made by the previous one. That is अपना Irving Fisher's. That way it was. See. Here they have seen total transactions in the market in the year T. The total transaction in the market in the year T may not be exactly same as total output of the year. So कहने का मतलब क्या है? Total transaction was being taken into consideration was this one. Our इरविंग फिशर, बट ही डिड नॉट टेक इनटू कंसिडरेशन ऑफ द आउटपुट, दैट इज ये साल के ट्रांजैक्शंस, ये साल में ट्रांजैक्शंस कंडक्ट हुए, बट क्या वो यही साल वाले थे कि पिछले साल वाले भी थे? ये बाइफर्केशन अपना इरविंग फिशर्स ने नहीं देखा, ये किसने फाइंड आउट किया? इट वाज बीइंग फाइंड आउट बाय कैम्ब्रिज कैश बैलेंस, दैट इज अपना कैम्ब्रिज ने देखा था, यूनिवर्सिटी है चुकी, ऐसे कैश बैलेंस अप्रोच में फाइंड आउट किया था. On the other hand, the goods sold in a year may not have been produced in that year. See, जैसे अपने एग्जांपल में 2024 में जो सोल्ड हुआ 2024 के नहीं 2023 के भी थे, इट में भी अनसोल्ड स्टॉक ऑफ द प्रीवियस ईयर, दैट वे. बस यही इनमें एक फर्क था, दैट वे. वो भी टोटल आउटपुट बात करता है, ये भी टोटल आउटपुट बात करता है, बट वो टोटल आउटपुट में पूरे ट्रांजेक्शन्स की बात करता है, बट ये उसमें जाके देखो दोनों अप्रोच में देखो एक पॉइंट ऑफ दैट इज क्या है कि ये डिफरेंस क्या है. ए दैट इज इरविंग फिशर्स ओनली टॉक्स अबाउट टोटल आउटपुट एंड टोटल ट्रांजैक्शंस ड्यूरिंग द ईयर, एंड दैट इज ये भी टोटल आउटपुट की बात करता है, बट ये उन्हीं ट्रांजैक्शंस की बात करता है जो करंट ईयर में हुए हैं. मतलब बाइफर्केशन करता है कि समझो ये साल में ट्रांजैक्शंस तो हुए, बट ये साल के ट्रांजैक्शंस नहीं है, वो उसके अंदर कुछ प्रीवियस ईयर के ट्रांजैक्शंस भी है और करंट ईयर के ट्रांजैक्शंस भी है. ये बाइफर्केशन बस कैम्ब्रिज कैश बैलेंस अप्रोच में किया गया है. अगर आपको कुछ भी नहीं समझा है तो बेसिकली लेक्चर को रिवाइंड करके फिर से देखना. अगेन मैं रिपीट करता हूँ आपको, इरविंग फिशर्स के अंदर क्या बोला उसने, दैट इज वो भी दैट इज टी से टोटल आउटपुट मानता है, बट वो ट्रांजैक्शंस ड्यूरिंग द ईयर कंडक्ट हुए देखता है. सेकंड वाला दैट इज अपना कैम्ब्रिज में भी ट्रांजैक्शंस की बात की है, टोटल आउटपुट की बात की है, बट इसके अंदर बाइफर्केशन करता है कौन से प्रीवियस ईयर के ट्रांजैक्शंस है और कौन से करंट ईयर के ट्रांजैक्शंस है. इससे उसको पता चलेगा ये साल में कितना मनी सप्लाई हुआ है. क्योंकि अगर हमारे को 6 लाख लेकर है, हमारे को जो 6 लाख दिख रहे हैं, बट वो 6 लाख ये साल के है ही नहीं, उसमें से 4 लाख तो प्रीवियस ईयर के है, तो हमारे ये साल में कितना ट्रांजैक्शन है, सिर्फ 2 लाख का ही हुआ है. दैट वे इट इज. और ये डिफरेंशिएशन देखता ही नहीं, कौन नहीं देखता है? अपना, दैट इज इरविंग फिशर्स, बट कैम्ब्रिज यूनिवर्सिटी ने फाइंड आउट करा था. दैट वे यू जस्ट हैव टू रिमेंबर दिस फॉर्मूलाज रियली वेल, दैट इज ये क्या किसको क्या बोलते दैट वे, इन बोथ द थिंग्स, इन बोथ द वे, एंड प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस मेन पॉइंट्स दैट वे. There are certain causes of inflation I really want you to guys go through once, please. That is there a cost push inflation and demand pull inflation. Please go through once. Please go through once. This just go through once. This all the causes. Please go through once that way. And yeah, please do not forget to do this chart also. The primary functions of money, secondary functions of money. That way. Yeah. Next, again, the most important thing, that is banking concept. Let's begin with the banking concept. Yeah, let's initiate. Let's begin with this. Okay, let's do this also. Okay guys, let's initiate with the next topic, that is अपना banking concept. Now guys, let us understand what is banking, and yeah, and let's move forward. Guys, you tell me, आपको कुछ पॉइंट्स तो बैंकिंग के बहुत कॉमन है. आई वुड लाइक टू ड्रॉ योर अटेंशन अपॉन, दैट इज बैंकिंग, दैट इज इन अवर कंट्री देयर इज अ एड हॉक अथॉरिटी. एवरी कंट्री हैज इट्स ओन अपेक्स इंस्टीट्यूशन और अपेक्स फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, एंड अपेक्स फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन इज नथिंग बट an apex financial institution or regulator. It is nothing but central bank. In our country we have Reserve Bank of India. See, the Reserve Bank of India Act was passed in the year 1934. Further, Reserve Bank was established. Reserve Bank of India was established in the year 1935. Next, Reserve Bank of India was nationalized in the year 1949. Further guys, in our country, currencies like notes and coins are issued by RBI on authorization of Government of India. But 1 rupee note yeah. Yeah, central government has the authority to issue coins and 1 rupee note. That was being done. Yeah, ये ठीक है. अब जो मैं मेन बोलूंगा वो चीज ध्यान रखना. Next, something that is called as credit creation. Now in country, the credit creation is being done by commercial bank and credit control. Just a minute. Control of credit is being done by Reserve Bank of India, that is central bank. Now we're going to understand what is credit creation and what is credit control. Example, there are certain assumptions of this and you have to go through these assumptions and आपको बताया जाएगा actually होता कैसे. All the transactions are conducted through bank एंड कैसे आपका रिजर्व रेशियो मेंटेन करके चीजें आगे कंडक्ट करी जाती है. ठीक है, आराम से समझो. पहले हमको रिजर्व रेशियो बताता फिर अपन यहाँ पे आएंगे. ठीक है, सुनो. अभी ना गाइस क्रेडिट क्रिएट कैसे होता है, क्रेडिट कंट्रोल कैसे होता है, आई टेल यू. चलो सुन ही लो अभी. चलो एग्जांपल, बैंक. दिस मिस्टर Atif. He has deposited rupees 1 lakh into बैंक. 1 लाख बैंक के पास उसने डिपॉजिट किया. अब बैंक के पास 1 लाख रुपीज आ गए. इज डिपॉजिटेड रुपीज 1 लाख. अब बैंक को ना, दैट इज कौन सी बैंक है, कमर्शियल बैंक. समझो HDFC है, ये HDFC बैंक है. ठीक है, नाउ इसको आरबीआई ने बोल के रखा है आपको रिजर्व रेशियो मेंटेन करके रखा है. रिजर्व रेशियो आई टेल यू, आपको थोड़ा सा जितना आपके पास आया उतना पैसे में थोड़ा सा आपको यू हैव टू मेंटेन रिजर्व रेशियो. आपको रिजर्व में पैसा निकाल के रखना है और बाकी का पैसा आप लोन के रूप में दे सकते हो. अब ये रिजर्व रेशियो कितना बोला बैंक ने, समझो एग्जाम्पल आरबीआई ने बोला 20% मेंटेन करके रखो. सो 20% मेंटेन करके रखा. तो उन्होंने कस्टमर को, दैट इज एग्जाम्पल मिस्टर कुशल को लोन दिया. कितने का लोन दिया, 20% साइड में निकाला. दैट इज कितना परसेंट साइड में निकाला, इट इज नथिंग बट अपना 20,000 एंड ये रिजर्व हो गया अपना क्रिएट. और बाकी का उसने लेट आउट कितना किया लोन के रूप में, कितना दिया कुशल को, वॉज रुपीज 80,000. अगेन इट इज बिंग अज्यूम्ड कि कुशल के बैंक अकाउंट में जाएगा. मतलब कुशल जो भी अभी ट्रांजैक्शंस करेगा वो बैंक से ही करेगा, मतलब वो अपने खाते से ही ट्रांजैक्शंस करेगा. मतलब अगेन बैंक में आ गया. सो बेसिकली फिर ऐसा माना जाएगा कि वो कुशल ने जो पैसा है वो अपने अकाउंट में ही रखा. ठीक है, अकाउंट में रखा. तो कितना पैसा रखा उसने अभी, 80,000 रुपीज रखा. अब अगेन रिजर्व रेशियो अपना कितना है, 20%. तो इसका रिजर्व 20% रखा जाएगा. दैट इज कितना 20% इसका, इट वुड बी अप्रोक्सीमेटली अपना 16,000. अगेन रिजर्व रखा गया. फिर ये जो 16,000 माइनस करेंगे, अगर अपन 80,000 में 60,000 अगर माइनस करेंगे, इट वुड बी अप्रोक्सीमेटली अपना 54,000. वो क्या हो जाएगा, बाहर लेट आउट हो जाएगा. अब गाइस मेरे को कहने का तात्पर्य आपको ये है, व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू ऑल, कि अगेन ये लोन दे दिया जा सकता है. एग्जांपल ये मुझे लोन दे दिया. अब अगेन ये सिस्टम चलता रहेगा. अब देखो रुपीज तो 1 लाख रुपये ही है, ये तो 1 लाख रुपए की डिपॉजिट है, बट कितना आपका देखो क्रेडिट करते जा रहे, क्रेडिट क्रिएट जाता है, क्रेडिट ऐसा आपकी कंट्री में क्रिएट होता है. अब आरबीआई क्या करता है, आरबीआई इस क्रेडिट को ना कंट्रोल करता है. पता है कैसे, ये आपको रिजर्व रेशियो देख रहे, रिजर्व रेशियो. अगर मुझे बताओ ये रिजर्व रेशियो 20% ना होके अगर 10% होता तो बाहर जो लोन यहाँ पे 80,000 गया ना, वो 80 नहीं 90 जाता, बराबर. और यहाँ पे वो कितना जाता और थोड़ा, मतलब बेसिकली अगर आपका रिजर्व रेशियो, अगर हम रिजर्व कम करेंगे, अपने पास कम रखेंगे, तो बाहर मार्केट में लोन ज्यादा जाएगा, ज्यादा क्रेडिट क्रिएट होगा. तो आरबीआई इस क्रेडिट रेशियो को, दैट इज रिजर्व रेशियो को, ये जो रिजर्व रेशियो को कम ज्यादा करती है इन ऑर्डर टू कंट्रोल द क्रेडिट. अगर मार्केट में पैसा नहीं है तो रेशियो को कम कर दिया जाएगा, अब क्योंकि आप ज्यादा लोन मार्केट में दे पाओ. और अगर मार्केट में बहुत पैसा तो इस रेशियो को बढ़ा दिया जाएगा. दैट वे इट इज. सो ये रिजर्व रेशियो वाला जो टेक्निक है बेसिकली आरबीआई इस्तेमाल करती है फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ कंट्रोलिंग द क्रेडिट. हेंस बेसिकली जो क्रेडिट को क्रिएट किसने किया, क्रेडिट इज क्रिएटेड बाय कमर्शियल बैंक, एंड जिसका जो कंट्रोल है रिजर्व रेशियो को क्या करते हैं, कम ज्यादा करते हैं. इट इज बीइंग बेसिकली कंट्रोल बाय रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया. दैट वे सेंट्रल बैंक ने ऐसा. ओके, आगे बढ़ेंगे अपन. अभी क्रेडिट को कंट्रोल करने के और तरीके हैं. ठीक है, आपके क्रेडिट कंट्रोल के टेक्निक से बताता आपको. सेंट्रल बैंक कंट्रोल्स क्रेडिट 2 वेज में. उनके पास क्वालिटेटिव इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स है and it also has quantitative instruments. Now what is qualitative? Now what is quantitative? We'll have to see. चलो करते हैं. First we'll start, that is bank rate. First है bank rate. Now bank rate is the rate at which बैंक रेट अगर अपन देखेंगे एक ऐसा रेट है जिस रेट पे कमर्शियल. ओके गाइस, व्हाट इज बैंक रेट? सो बैंक रेट इज दैट रेट एट विच कमर्शियल बैंक, एट विच अपनी कमर्शियल बैंक एग्जांपल लेट्स फॉर एग्जांपल कोटक बैंक बोरोज मनी फ्रॉम सेंट्रल बैंक. I'll tell you how. Central bank. See, bank rate is a rate, the interest rate at which commercial bank borrows money from the, that is central bank से money borrow करती है. I'll tell you how. Example, commercial bank के पास ना बहुत से bills पड़े, bills of exchange या फिर checks पड़े जिनकी ऑनर ड्यू डेट अभी आनी बाकी है, मतलब उनको, दैट इज कमर्शियल बैंक को पैसे मिलने वाले हैं बट अभी उनके पास वो लिक्विडिटी नहीं है. सो दे आर इन नीड ऑफ मनी. सो दे विल गो टू बैंक, सेंट्रल बैंक के पास जाएंगे और बोलेंगे हे सेंट्रल बैंक, देखो अगर मुझे जरूरत है, इफ आई एम इन नीड ऑफ मनी आई विल गो टू कोटक बैंक इज माई बैंक, my banker is Kotak Bank. But if my bank, Kotak Bank need money, it will go to central bank. They will go to central bank and they will ask, hey central bank, please lend us money and keep this bill with you. That is, we wanted to discount this bill with you. So basically commercial bank जाएगी central bank के पास and they will give this bill and they will get discounted. इसका मतलब क्या? The rate, अब percentage होगा. अब basically अब उनके पास गए, अभी उन्होंने बोला कि बैंक रेट वॉज 10%. सो तो बैंक रेट इज 10%. अब कहने का मतलब क्या? अब इनको 90% का पैसा मिल जाएगा. सेंट्रल बैंक विल गिव 90% ऑफ द मनी टू देम एंड मुझे बताओ 10% वो रख लेंगे. क्लियर है क्या? दैट वे. अब कहने का मतलब क्या? देखो ये बिल कैसे पैसा, कमर्शियल बैंक हैज गॉट द बिल्स, बराबर, ये बिल से इनको पैसा मिलने वाला है बट ड्यू डेट पे मिलने वाला है. ठीक है, तो ड्यू डेट के लिए टाइम है, तो कमर्शियल बैंक की लिक्विडिटी की अफेक्ट हो रही है. सो वो जाके अपना बिल किसके पास डिस्काउंट करा रहे हैं? दे आर गोइंग एंड डिस्काउंटिंग दैट बिल विद द सेंट्रल बैंक. तो सेंट्रल बैंक बाद में वो अपने पैसे को रिकवर करा सकती है कंसर्न लेंडर से. ठीक है, और दैट इज उनके एजेंसी से उनको रिकवर करा सकते हैं. कहने का तात्पर्य क्या है? इट इज गोइंग, दैट इज अपना कमर्शियल बैंक इज गोइंग टू सेंट्रल बैंक एंड आस्किंग द मनी. तो एक रेट पे देंगे. अब सेंट्रल बैंक डेफिनेटली इज गोइंग टू चार्ज द इंटरेस्ट रेट. तो वो जो इंटरेस्ट रेट होगा वो देखो 10% है. अगर मेरे को बताओ मार्केट में इन्फ्लेशन है. इन्फ्लेशन मतलब ऑलरेडी मार्केट में बहुत ज्यादा मनी सप्लाई है. मार्केट में ऑलरेडी मनी सप्लाई है, तो मनी सप्लाई को कम करना पड़ेगा. क्यों? और मार्केट में मनी सप्लाई कम कैसे होगा? अगर कमर्शियल बैंक के पास पैसा कम होगा तो पब्लिक जाके, अगर कमर्शियल बैंक के पास ही पैसा कम है तो लोगों को वो लोन कैसे दे पाएगी? सो इन दैट केस अगर सेंट्रल बैंक को क्या करना है कि मार्केट में मनी सप्लाई कम करना है, तो क्या करेंगे? अगर कोई बैंक उनके पास आती है, मतलब बेसिकली अगर कोई बैंक आती है, सो क्या करेंगे? अपने बिल को उनके पास जाकर डिस्काउंट कर लेंगे. इसका मतलब ये है कि वो क्या कर देंगे? दैट इज रेट को बढ़ा देंगे. इन्फ्लेशन है तो रेट को बढ़ा देंगे. इसका मतलब उन्होंने क्या कर दिया कि उस रेट को 20% कर दिया. मतलब क्या होगा? सिर्फ 80% पैसा जाएगा किसके पास? बैंक के पास. कौन से? कमर्शियल बैंक के पास. अगर 80% उनके पास ये पैसा अगर कम है तो मार्केट भी वो पैसा कम, दैट इज लोन के रूप में दे पाएंगे. अभी अगर मार्केट में डिफ्लेशन चल रहा है तो उन्होंने रेट को कम कर दिया. दैट इज क्या? आप कमर्शियल बैंक गई सेंट्रल बैंक के पास और बिल को डिस्काउंट किया और वाली पैसा चाहिए, तो उन्होंने क्या रखा? रेट को 5% रखा. ठीक है, तो 95% पैसा इनके पास आ गया. तो 95% पैसा इनके पास आ गया. इनके पास पैसा ज्यादा है और ये मार्केट में आके भी क्या कर सकते हैं? कमर्शियल बैंक कैन गिव लोन इनटू द मार्केट्स. So that was bank rate. Bank rate is that rate at which the bills are discounted by the banks with commercial bank. ठीक है, and if there is inflation, it means money supply बहुत ज्यादा है, तो कमर्शियल बैंक जो लोन देगी तो मार्केट में और मनी सप्लाई क्रिएट होगा. सो सेंट्रल बैंक विल इंक्रीज द इंटरेस्ट रेट सो दैट बैंक को ही पैसे कम मिलेंगे, फिर मार्केट में जाके वो लेंड कम कर पाएंगे. नहीं समझा तो वापस समझो. सुनो, इट इज सेंट्रल बैंक, commercial bank. Commercial bank has some bills. Example, bill rupees 1 crore. दो बिल्स है, उनको पैसे की जरूरत है. they went to commercial bank, went to central bank. इनके पास आके बिल को डिस्काउंट कराया. सेंट्रल बैंक ने इनको पैसा दे दिया, बट पूरा थोड़ी पैसा देंगे, कुछ इंटरेस्ट चार्जेस तो काटेंगे ना, डिस्काउंटिंग चार्जेस काटेंगे. सो डिस्काउंटिंग चार्जेस कितने होंगे? सो डिस्काउंटिंग चार्जेस वॉज 10%, मतलब इनको कितना पैसा मिला? 90 लाख मिला, 90 लाख मिला. ठीक है, दैट वे. अब इनके पास कितना पैसा आ गया? कमर्शियल का 90 लाख, 90 लाख आ गया, दो बिल का पैसा आ गया. अभी इन 90 लाख इनके पास है, तो ये लोग लोन क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, मार्केट में लोगों को लोन दे सकते हैं. कौन? कमर्शियल बैंक कैन गिव लोन इनटू द ओपन मार्केट. बट गाइस अभी देखोगे क्या, अगर समझो इन्फ्लेशन, ये नॉर्मल सिनेरियो ऐसा होता है, बट अगर इन्फ्लेशन हुआ, अगर इन्फ्लेशन हुआ तो ये जो रेट है ना, रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, जो ये जो बैंक रेट था, ये जो बैंक रेट था, रेट डिस्काउंटिंग रेट 10% से बढ़ा दिया जाएगा. अब मेरे को बताओ, कमर्शियल बैंक ये तो मार्केट में लोन देती है, मार्केट में क्रिएट कमर्शियल बैंक क्रिएट करते हैं, तो अगर उनके पास पैसा ज्यादा होगा तो वो ज्यादा लोन दे पाएंगे, अगर उनके पास ये पैसा कम है तो लोन भी तो कम ही दे पाएंगे ना. सो इन दैट केस सेंट्रल बैंक क्या करते हैं? इन दैट केस सेंट्रल बैंक इन्फ्लेशन के वक्त ये इंटरेस्ट रेट को बढ़ा दिया, 20% कर दिया. मतलब 1 करोड़ प्लस 1 करोड़ के 2 बिल लेके आप गए थे सेंट्रल बैंक के पास. कौन गए थे सेंट्रल बैंक के पास? कमर्शियल बैंक. सो इन दैट केस सेंट्रल बैंक ने क्या कर दिया? वो इंटरेस्ट रेट को ही बढ़ा दिया, 20% कर दिया. अब इनको कितना मिला? सिर्फ 80 लाख, 80 लाख. अब इनके पास ये पैसा कम है तो मार्केट में दैट इज वो, इनके पास ही अगर पैसा कम है तो मार्केट में क्या करेंगे? वो मार्केट में लोन कम दैट इज दे पाएंगे. दैट वे इट इज. अभी मार्केट में डिफ्लेशन है, डिफ्लेशन समझते हो? मार्केट में मंदी है, मतलब मार्केट में पैसा बहुत कम है. सो इन दैट केस क्या होगा? इंटरेस्ट रेट कम हो जाएगा. तो आरबीआई ने वो इंटरेस्ट रेट को कम कर दिया, 5% कर दिया. इन दैट केस ये दैट इज अपनी कमर्शियल बैंक, कमर्शियल दैट इज अपनी HDFC या फिर कोटक, उनके पास गई थी. ठीक है. सो 1 करोड़ और 1 करोड़ के 2 बिल दिए थे, 1 करोड़ एंड 1 करोड़ के उनको जो 2 बिल दिए थे, एंड उनको जो 1 करोड़ एंड 1 करोड़ के जो 2 बिल उनको जो हैंड ओवर किए थे. इन दैट केस मेरे को बताइए, 1 करोड़ एंड 1 करोड़ के जो 2 बिल उनको हैंड ओवर करे थे, इन दैट सिनारियो उनके पास जो थी वो 5% उन्होंने काट के उनको दिया, दैट इज 95 लाख था. सो इन दैट केस इनके पास अभी कमर्शियल बैंक के पास ही पैसा ज्यादा है तो मार्केट में लोन ज्यादा क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. इन दैट वे द क्रेडिट इज बिंग कंट्रोल्ड. सो इसको बोलते हैं कंट्रोल, मतलब क्वांटिटेटिव इंस्ट्रूमेंट में बैंक रेट था ये. सो बैंक रेट इज दैट रेट एट विच RBI rediscounts the bills of exchange of the commercial banks. नेक्स्ट, अब नेक्स्ट अपन करेंगे, दैट इज नेक्स्ट कौन सा है? ठीक है, नेक्स्ट वी विल डू समथिंग विच इज कॉल्ड एज, जस्ट अ सेकेंड. The next will be done the quantitative instrument में, it will be open market operations. Again it is really my favorite. इसको OMO बोलते हैं, फिर open market operations बोलते हैं. Let's understand what is open market operations. Second, there is open market operations. What is open market operations? I'll tell you how it is. So no, अब गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज. ठीक है, इट इज बेसिकली कंसर्न विद गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज. आई टेल यू, सी मैं यहाँ पे हूँ, we did something which is called as who creates credit, that way it's sata, and credit controlling techniques. So we did by far was बैंक रेट. अपन ने बैंक रेट कंप्लीट करा, यहाँ पे इन्होंने लास्ट में दिया इसको, जो कि इनको सबसे पहले देना चाहिए. जस्ट अ सेकेंड. Yeah, see, no, where they have given bank rate. Okay, fine. So they have mentioned somewhere bank rate. Okay, we'll basically later at the later part we'll basically find it out. Yeah, but bank rate आपको I hope समझ में आया. ठीक है, next that is something which is called open market operations. अपन करेंगे next types, that is open market operation. We'll do open market operation. What's open market operation? Let's understand. अब see, yeah, let's begin. Okay, open market operation. See, what does RBI do? RBI do, that is it is basically buy and sell of government securities. I'll tell you how. Example, see, if there is an inflation situation, there are a lot of amount of money supply. देयर इज एक्सेस मनी सप्लाई इन द कंट्री. सो अगर एक्सेस मनी सप्लाई कंट्री के अंदर है तो ये भी अच्छा नहीं है, मनी सप्लाई को निकालना पड़ेगा. तो क्या करेंगे, यहाँ पे आरबीआई तो गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज बेचते हैं. पता है, पीपल डाई टू परचेस गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज बिकॉज इन गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज द रिस्क कोएफिशिएंट दैट इज रिस्क कोएफिशिएंट दैट इज बीटा कोएफिशिएंट इज जीरो. आपको गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज में कोई रिस्क नहीं होती. देयर इज नो लेवल ऑफ रिस्क व्हिच इज इन्वॉल्वड इन द केस ऑफ गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज. सो इन द गिवन केस नाउ आरबीआई विल कम इनटू द मार्केट एंड सेल गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज. आरबीआई विल सेल गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज. सबको गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज बेचेंगे. सो लोग क्या करेंगे, वो गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज परचेस करेंगे. तो उनके पास तो क्या आ जाएगा, इन्वेस्टर्स के बाद क्या आ जाएगा मार्केट में, सिक्योरिटीज आ जाएगी. बट गवर्नमेंट क्या चला जाएगा, आरबीआई के पास क्या जाएगा, एक्सेस मनी सप्लाई. एक्सेस मनी सप्लाई. यू टेल मी गाइस, आप इन्वेस्टमेंट कब करोगे, जब आपके पास एक्सेस पैसा है तभी आप इन्वेस्टमेंट करोगे. इफ यू आर लेस मनी यू विल नेवर थिंक अबाउट इन्वेस्टमेंट, यू विल थिंक ऑफ सर्वाइवल. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इन द केस ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन, in the case of inflation what happens is RBI comes into market, it sells government securities, to general public. So public gets securities, public के पास security आया, but उनके पास जो excess पैसा था ना, they gave their money. तो excess money था वो किसके पास चला गया, again RBI के पास चला गया. So it is called the way they control the credit. Now in that case जो excess money supply था उसको that is क्या कर दिया, eject, that is market से निकाल लिया. So it is again a tool which is being used by RBI to control the credit. And if there is a deflation, it means there is no money supply in the country or there is very less money supply in country. Then what RBI will do? See, RBI will now sell their securities. अब मतलब आरबीआई क्या करेंगे, उनके सिक्योरिटीज जो लोगों ने परचेस करके रखे उनको रिडीम कर देंगे. दैट इज इन्वेस्टर के पास से सिक्योरिटीज रिटर्न ले लेंगे, सिक्योरिटीज रिटर्न ले लिया एंड उनको उनका मनी सप्लाई, इन्वेस्टर्स को उनको उनका मनी दे दिया, मतलब उनको उनके सिक्योरिटीज को रिडीम कर दिया. सो इन दैट केस उनको रीपेमेंट कर दिया, उनसे उनका दैट इज इंटरेस्ट के साथ उनको रीपेमेंट कर दिया. नाउ कंट्री में जो मनी सप्लाई नहीं था इनके पास, सिक्योरिटीज इनसे ले लिए और इनको दैट इज क्या कर दिया, इनके पास से मतलब इनके पास से गवर्नमेंट ने अपनी सिक्योरिटीज क्या कर ली, परचेज कर ली दैट वे सिक्योरिटीज. और पहले यहाँ पे दैट इज आरबीआई ने सिक्योरिटीज को सेल किया था, सेलिंग ऑफ सिक्योरिटीज वाज डन, यहाँ पे सेल हुआ था सिक्योरिटीज का. अब यहाँ पे बाइंग हो गया, सिक्योरिटीज परचेस हो गया, तो लोगों के पास क्या आ गया, मनी आ गया. पहले इनके पास मनी था वो निकाल लिया, अब दैट इनके पास मनी आ गया, दैट वे इट इज. सो इट इज कॉल्ड ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन. ओके, सो द नेक्स्ट कंसेप्ट वाज ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन. सी, it implies purchase and sale of securities in stock market when central bank appears in the market as seller of government securities. People buy securities. अगर लोग buy करेंगे securities तो उनके पास का पैसा चला जाएगा, तो withdrawing money from the banks or the banks themselves invest in such securities, so उनके पास चला जाता है that way. Yeah, okay, power of creating credit will be restricted. So that was open market operation. Okay. Now variation in reserve ratio. What is reserve ratio? I'll tell you. There are two types of reserve ratio. Okay. Variation in the reserve ratio. There are two types of reserve ratio. One that is something which is called cash reserve ratio. And another one is something which is called as a statutory liquidity ratio. Statutory liquidity ratio. What is cash reserve ratio and what is statutory liquidity ratio? You'll have to understand. I'll tell you. See, cash reserve ratio is that ratio. It is that ratio which every commercial bank is required to deposit with RBI of total deposits. Example, if there is a bank, Kotak Bank, it has total deposits worth rupees 10 lakhs. और अगर समझो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ आरबीआई has introduced CRR of 10%, so इसका 10% you will have to that is give to whom, that is आपको आरबीआई के पास देना है. इस कितना हो जाएगा ये, इट इज अपना 1 लाख रुपीज, 1 लाख रुपीज हैज टू बी डिपॉजिट विद आरबीआई, इट्स कॉल्ड कैश रिजर्व रेशियो। नाउ इससे क्या होता है, ये कैश रिजर्व रेशियो, अब मेरे को बताओ, दैट इज बैंक के पास 10 लाख थे, 10 लाख में से 1 लाख किसने रख दिया, आरबीआई के पास हमने सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट के रूप में रख लिया। इन दैट केस गाइस व्हाट हैपेंस इज इट रिस्ट्रिक्ट्स द एबिलिटी ऑफ द बैंक टू क्रिएट क्रेडिट। नाउ इन द केस ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन, नाउ if there is a inflation, if there is a inflation, RBI will increase, RBI will definitely increase this, that is rate. So RBI ने increase कर दिया इसको 30% कर दिया. Now of rupees 10 lakh, now of rupees 10 lakh he will have to give 30%, 30% that is 3 lakh will be given to RBI. Now out of 10 3 lakh is being given, so 7 lakh can only be, only 7 lakh rupees, only 7 lakh rupees ka loan can be given into the market that way. So basically what happens is every rates are being increased in the case of inflation, and deflation the rates are being decreased. In the case of deflation what happens is the RBI will ask for lesser reserve ratio, that is it was 10 lakh rupees and RBI decreased, बोला कि 5% रखिए, so it was basically only 50,000 was required to be kept with that is अपना central bank RBI, and rest 9.5 lakh, 9.5 lakh loans can be given into the market. Now the money supply will be increased. Inflation means there is excess money supply, so we have to take out the money supply from the market, and if there is a deflation, there is no money supply or less money supply, we have to bring more money into the market. That way it goes. So it was that way being conducted. Nextly guys, moving forward, that is statutory liquidity ratio. What is statutory liquidity ratio? Now it is basically, it is that portion of money which is required to be maintained in liquid asset, with banks itself, with banks itself, खुद को बैंक के पास, that is बैंक के अंदर ही आपको रखना पड़ेगा. You'll have to basically keep this into bank itself. So how does it goes? I'll tell you. Suno. Example, bank has received total deposit of rupees 1 lakh. So it has to keep cash reserve ratio of 10% and statutory liquidity ratio, that is 10% was CRR, तो आपको 10% रखना है. कितना? वो 10,000 वो आरबीआई के पास रखना है, ठीक है. एंड SLR, that is 20% रखने बोला है. एंड इफ SLR is required to be kept as 20%, देन ये 20% रखना है, इसका ही 20%, दैट इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज 20,000. ये आपको खुद के बैंक के अंदर ही रखना है in the liquid form, because if you will give every amount of money as a loan, then if the someone who comes and withdraws the money, then bank will be into the basically something which is called as a liquidity crisis. So in that case, if I have deposited money today, tomorrow I wanted to withdraw my money, so the bank must be in possession of some liquid money, right? So in that case, it is being advised by the RBI to maintain some money that is called as in the form of liquid asset, called as statutory liquidity ratio, which is 20%, that way. Yeah, so basically now 20% is being kept in the bank itself, and now 10,000 is being deposited in RBI. In the case of inflation, in the case of inflation, both the interest rates are increased, and in the case of deflation, both the rates are decreased. The more rate we keep with aside, so basically it will restrict our power to create credit. That way RBI controls the credit into the country. And in deflation, and in the case of deflation, the rate shall be decreased, so that you would be in a position to create less. So in the position, in the case of inflation, the interest will be rate, the CRR and SLR will be increased. If the rate is increased, more amount of money is kept in the reserve, so less amount of money in the market. So we want less money to go in the market because it is already inflation. Money market के अंदर बहुत ज़्यादा है. But in the case of deflation, there is no existence of money, or there is really less existence of money. So we want more money to go into the market. So we want to, आप थोड़ा ही साइड में रखो, बाकी पूरा लोन दे दो. That way it is ऐसा. ये it was basically variation in the reserve ratio. So RBI does this for the purpose of checking inflation and deflation के वक्त RBI in the rates को क्या करती है? Variations करती है. That way. And next something which is called qualitative control, credit control. So here it is this technique, moral suasion. What happens in the case of moral suasion? I'll tell you how. In qualitative technique, Moral suasion is something that is called as moral suasion, in which RBI request to certain commercial banks, either it requests to lend more in certain sectors because that sectors are not performing well, and in order to make them well we require finances. So RBI either request you as a commercial bank to lend more in certain sector, or it request to not lend in certain sectors. Either it will request you to lend more in certain sector, example infra, next that is food industry, third something tourism. Lend more to these companies because they are not performing well and they require in the funds. So that way, in order to have the economic growth and stability, so lend more in certain sector. RBI request to commercial banks to lend more in certain sectors, or it can also request to not to lend, sorry, to not to lend in certain areas or in certain sectors. That way it requests, it is in the form of directionary. It is at the bank's discretion, commercial bank decision whether to follow or not, but in generally everybody follows the directions or a request given by RBI. So that way either it is a moral suasion again if basically if that is a central bank of India, that is the RBI, want more amount of money to be given to a certain area. So in that it will request to lend more, and it does not want to be given a money supply to certain areas. In that case it will request not to lend to certain sectors. That way it will be, yeah. So that was moral suasion. So this was the thing. Okay, let's move forward. So the next thing, that is our money market starts. So let's go forward in that area. Okay, so let's move forward something which is called as a money market. So guys, let's move to the concept of money market. It is again really easy. Moving forward. Okay, let's initiate what is money market. Okay. See, in terms of money market, I'll tell you that is, let's talk about money market. Before talking to money market, there are certain concepts which needs to be heard out. That is financial market. Financial market, whenever the company or whenever the investors are in need of money, or whenever the company basically is in need of money, it access to financial market. Now the financial market is being bifurcated on the basis of two, that is on the basis of time period. That is, financial market could be short term or it could be long term. When it is short term, it is definitely called as the money market, and when it is long term, it is called as capital market. See, capital market, basically the capital market instruments are shares. The company issues shares for the purpose of raising funds. Shares could be equity shares, or it could be preference shares, it could be bonds or debt securities, which the company issues for the long term duration for the purpose of getting funds. But in the case of money market, it is a market for short term duration, generally up to the maturity of 1 year. It is up to the maturity of 1 year. Okay, so money market instruments are basically being issued, or the money market are being accessed by the investors or the companies for the purpose of raising the funds for their working capital needs or short term financial needs. It is not long term. Long term is basically the long term financial needs are being catered by the basically, or catered by basically capital market. That way it is. So money market is being accessed for the purpose of raising the finances up to 1 year, or that is for short term needs. Money market is being accessed. Okay, moving forward. Now money market is two types. Money market is also got types, that is two types of money market exist. That is, one is, just a second, it is organized money market and unorganized money market. Unorganized money market. What is organized money market and what is unorganized money market? Organized money market are basically the type of the markets wherein the rules and regulations of RBIs are generally being observed. And RBI rules and regulations are being observed in the case of organized, but not so in the case of unorganized. Let's take an example. Now, what is unorganized money market? Money lenders. Next, chit funds. I'll tell you how does it works. What is money lenders exactly? Example, Mr. A is in need of money. He approaches Mr. B, whereas Mr. B lends him rupees 1 lakh and charge an interest of 10% from him. It is called as a unofficial transaction, that is, it is not being transacted at the as per RBI guidelines. So it is called unorganized money market, where the people borrow money from each other. We definitely borrow money from each other at a for a shorter duration. Please give me 1000 rupees, I'll return it to you after 10 days or 20 days. Acha, that person also charges interest sometimes or some other times. So the matter of fact is, what happened is, B is lending rupees 1 lakh to Mr. A at an interest of 10%. It is what is something which is called as money market money market. But which is money market? It is unorganized. It is not, the rate of interest is not being guided by RBI's guidelines or rules and regulation. It is being basically pre-decided between the parties, that way. Chit fund. What is exactly chit fund? I'll tell you what is chit fund. Let's say there are four parties, A, B, C and D. Each one of is contributing, example, 10,000. At the first of every month they are meeting, and they are, that is, contributing 10,000 each, so it will be total conclusion of 40,000. Now they put the name of each person into a box. A chit is being made and chits are being thrown, and after that one chit is being drew, and it basically, if at the month one, it basically came the name of A, so all the 40,000 shall be given to him. Next month, again, that is, they assemble on the first of, that is, every month they assembled. On the next month, on the first date they assembled, and 40,000 was being contributed, and again chit system was being conducted. But this time the name of A was not being included in the chit, because its turn is already gone. So in that case, he has already received his part of the money. So what happened in this case, that is, now three chits will be drawn. Now all the 40,000 will be given to B. Again, the contributions will be given by, in the next month, all four of them, 40,000 will be contributed. Now the two chits will be driven, and that it basically got the drive, that is just a C. So all the 40,000 shall be given to C, and so on. And in the last month, there is no chit system is being followed. All the money is being given to D. So it is called a chit fund system. It is taking place at the unofficial level. So basically, chit fund system is basically again comes under the picture of unorganized money market. That way it is. Moving forward. Now, what is organized money market? Now, organized money market is something which is basically non-banking financial companies comes into the picture. I'll tell you. Non-banking but financial companies. What does that mean? Example, there are people who purchase the mobile phones on loan. Something called, they have the card of home credit. It is called non-banking financial companies. Non-banking but financial companies, what does that mean? They provide finances for the purpose of purchasing assets on short-term basis. You will get the quick finances. That way it is. Bajaj Finance. Bajaj Finance, again, it is an NBFC, which basically give you short-term credit. Again, you have heard the name of Dhani app. Again, it provides you loan on, that is, really less paperwork, and the loan shall be given to you. But they are organized. They are being guided by the rules and regulations of RBI. So basically, short-term finances are being taken from money market. There are two types of money market: organized money market, unorganized money market. Organized money market has to observe the rules and regulations of RBI. Unorganized money market does not observe the rules and regulations of RBI. That way it is. Moving forward, there are certain guys in organized money market. Organized money market. There are organized money market. Just a second. Organized money market. There are certain instruments which are being traded. Let's start one by one. Okay. Let's talk about the instruments. Okay. Let's go into the topic. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So this is call and notice money market. What is call and notice money market? I'll tell you what it is. Let's say, for an example, this. Okay. So First is call and notice money market. As you guys are well aware, as you guys are definitely well aware, every company is required to maintain cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratio. Every company is required to keep, every that is banking company or every bank, sorry, extremely sorry, my mistake. Every bank is required to keep, as per RBI's rules and regulations or guidelines, a part of the total deposit in the form of cash reserve ratio or statutory liquidity ratio. Example, there's a company called as a Kotak Mahindra Bank and also a company called as a SBI, that is State Bank of India. Now what happened? It has required to maintain, that is in the form of cash reserve ratio, it is required to maintain with RBI, so it was totally deposited. And also the, that is SL, that is statutory liquidity ratio, which was required to be maintained with bank itself. So liquidity ratio, so bank is required to keep among themselves SLR, and CRR is the cash reserve ratio. That portion of reserve, that portion of ratio is required to be kept with RBI. So both the banks were required to follow the same, and hence they were following CRR and SLR. What happened? 20% was SLR, 10% was SLR, CRR 10%, SLR 20%. It is not a standard, it is an example perspective. So Kotak Bank has 100 CR total deposit, it has 1000 CR as its total deposits. So 10% of it was 10 CR and 20 CR. So 10 CR was kept with RBI and 20 CR was kept as a liquid portion. Okay, they are complying the conditions. Good. Again here 10%, that is 100 CR was kept with RBI, and SLR, that is 20%, that is 200 CR was kept in the liquid form. Now what happened? That is Kotak Bank, one of the banker, idiot of the Kotak, that is, what did he do? He gave the loan amounting to excess amount. That is basically, if they are having 100 crore ka total deposit, 30 crores are being kept, that is in the form of reserves, that is 10 plus 20, 30 reserves. Then 70 crore was having them for the purpose of creating loan. One of them gave the loan of 72 crores. Arey bapre. They gave the loan of 72 crore. It means they gave loan from liquid asset. So they were having now 2 crore was gone. That is 18 crore was only left. But as per condition, 20 crore is required to be maintained. So in that case, what happened? In that case, what happened? It can borrow money. Now, that's what they were maintaining one more 100 crore. They were maintaining excess. 20% was limit, but they were maintaining 300 crore. Okay. Now what happened? A bank which is required to maintain reserve ratio, but which has breached the condition. See, 20 करोड़ रखने बोला था, बट आपका 20 करोड़ से नीचे रह गया क्योंकि आपने थोड़ा ज्यादा एक्सेस लोन दे दिया. इन दैट केस जिसके पास एक्सेस है आप उनसे बोरो कर सकते हो. इट्स कॉल्ड द इंटर बैंक ट्रांजैक्शंस. सो बेसिकली कोटक बैंक कैन बोरो दैट इज 2 करोड़. 2 करोड़ चाहिए ना उनको एक्स्ट्रा, क्योंकि 20 करोड़ रिक्वायरमेंट थी उनके एसएलआर के, उन्होंने सिर्फ 18 करोड़ रखा, तो दैट इज 2 करोड़ की उनको रिक्वायरमेंट है. सो दैट इज कोटक बैंक कैन आस्क, दैट इज इंटर बैंक ट्रांजैक्शन. जिनके पास देखो आपको लिमिट मेंटेन करके रखनी है, उन्होंने एक्सेस लिमिट मेंटेन करके रखी, आपने डेफिसिट मेंटेन करके रखी, तो ये तो नहीं चलेगा. आपको लिमिट मीट करनी है और आपके पास अगर पैसे नहीं है तो आप क्या कर सकते हो, दूसरे बैंक के पास आप बोरो कर सकते हो. यू कैन बोरो द सेम फ्रॉम अनदर बैंक. इन दैट केस यू कैन बोरो द मनी फ्रॉम अनदर बैंक. हाँ, वो आपसे इंटरेस्ट चार्ज करेंगे बट आप उनसे मनी बोरो कर सकते हो. अभी वो मनी, if you're borrowing that money, you're borrowing that 2 crore, that is Kotak is borrowing that money for money of rupees 2 crore. अगर वो कोटक बैंक 2 करोड़ रुपीस का मनी बोरो कर रहे हैं, अगर वो ओवरनाइट के लिए, ओवरनाइट या फिर वन नाइट के लिए, ओवरनाइट या फिर वन नाइट के लिए, द मनी बोरोज, द मनी विच वाज बीइंग बोरोड, या तो अगर वो ओवरनाइट के लिए, वन नाइट के लिए है, या फिर वो वन नाइट के लिए, या फिर वो ओवरनाइट के लिए, वन नाइट या फिर ओवरनाइट के लिए, देन it is called as overnight या फिर one night के लिए, then it is called as a call money. If one night के लिए it is call money, and more than one night, more than one day के लिए, but up to 14 days के लिए, it is called as a notice money market. That way. And Kotak in this case will require to pay interest also to SBI. That is called as a call money rate. That interest rate is called as a call money rate. पक्का समझा? सुनो. See, Kotak Mahindra Bank was maintaining reserve but suddenly its reserve got below the limit, so it will have to borrow money. It did not add the finance, it did not add the liquid asset, so it borrowed from another bank. It can borrow. It is called interbank transactions. So it is called if they're borrowing money for one night, it is called call money. And if they're borrowing money for more than one day and one night अगर आप borrow कर रहे हो, ठीक है, they are borrowing money. सिर्फ कोटक बैंक is borrowing money from SBM. If they're borrowing for one night or one day, it is something which is called as a call money. And if they're borrowing for more than one day but up to 14 days, it is called as a notice money. Okay, and interest will be required to be paid by Kotak to SBI, and that will be called as a call money rate. That is called as a call money rate. The next one is acha, bills of exchange discounting. So that I'm just basically go through that. That is discounting of bills of exchange. That is really easy. Next, that is treasury bills. It is also called as a T bills. What is treasury bills? I'll tell you. Government of India also requires funds to manage their operations, short-term operations. I'll tell you how. Example, there are many government institutions or government companies or government that is of functionals or departments. Example, we say post office, railway authority, okay, atomic energy or basically defense. In order to make payment of their employees or operational expenditures are being required. In that case, let's say for example, government is in need of finances because it wanted to release the payment of all these departments. So what it will do? It will go to investors. It will come into money market. It is in the want. So government of India is requiring money. So it will come to money market and take the funds. How they will take? I'll tell you. They issue treasury bills. How the treasury bills are being issued? I'll tell you. See, what happens is they issue to investors treasury bills having the face value, example 100 and issue price 80. So investors, so if Mr. A wanted to purchase treasury bills, so what he will pay? He will pay issue price. He will have to pay 80 rupees. So now he will pay 80 rupees. He paid 80 rupees. And there is a maturity of this treasury bill. It could be 90 days. It could be say 91 days, or it could be 182 days, or it could be 364 days. Let's say for example, he has purchased the bill of 91 days. So Mr. A gave rupees 80 to that is government of India. After 91 days, government of India promised to return this bill, return the payment, or make the payment of the money which has given. So Mr. A has given 80 rupees. Now after 91 days, government will give him no interest, but it will give him rupees 100. That is, it will redeem at face value. So basically, Mr. A purchased it at issue price and it will be redeemed at face value. Once again, see, government of India got the treasury bill. The face value of treasury bill was rupees 100 and the issue price was rupees 70. Mr. RB, I wanted to invest. So what amount I will pay? Face value or issue price? Definitely, I am going to pay something which is called as a issue price. I will pay now. Now I will pay issue price. I will pay 70 to government. After expiration, I have taken 91 days bill. After 91 days, government will pay me no interest but 100 rupees. So that balance 30 rupees, because I paid 70, I got 100. That 30 rupees is nothing but a appreciation to me or a benefit to me. That way it is treasury bills. Primarily when treasury bills concept was being introduced in the market, it was being first for 91 days. Later, in 1986, the concept was being made for 182 days. Next, in that is April 1994, it was being made that is for 364 days. So that way it was. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. So November 1986, it was when it came, it was for 91 days. Next, in November 1986, it was for 182 days. And in the year 1992, it made for 364 days. That way, they are issued at discount and therefore does not carry interest obligation. So discount पे issue होते हैं and redeemed at, and they are redeemed at par. So issued at 80 and redeemed at 100. That way. So 20 rupees is the appreciation. Moving ahead. Now what is commercial paper? Commercial paper is again an instrument which has been introduced by Bagul committee Bagul committee in the year 1990, January 1990. Please highlight the things which I'm telling you. See, commercial paper is something which is basically issued by companies. That is, yeah, it is being issued by companies. Commercial papers are unsecured promissory note which are issued by corporate entities to raise resources for short-term needs instead of borrowing from bank. I'll tell you, कंपनीज रेजिस्ट, कंपनी डू नॉट वांटेड टू बाय. अगर देखो कंपनीज को अगर बोरो करना है बैंक के पास से बोरो कर सकते हैं, बट बैंक के पास से बोरो करने में एक दिक्कत पता क्या आती है? दिक्कत ये होती है कि लॉट ऑफ अमाउंट ऑफ पेपर वर्क इज इन्वॉल्व. सो दे in order to not going to bank but they can come to investors के पास से आए और प्रॉमिस करते हैं, आज इन्वेस्टर्स आप हमारे कमर्शियल पेपर में इन्वेस्टमेंट करो, मतलब आज हमारे को आप पैसा दो, हम आपको एक पावती दैट इज कमर्शियल पेपर देते हैं प्रूफ के रूप में, आज आप हमारे को पैसा दो, हम आपको प्रॉमिस करते हैं हम आपको पैसा ये लौटा देंगे एक स्पेसिफाइड डेट पे. दैट देखो यहाँ पे बोला है. सो कमर्शियल पेपर्स आर बीइंग इंट्रोड्यूस या फिर बीइंग इशूड, कमर्शियल पेपर्स आर इशूड बाय कंपनीज टू इन्वेस्टर्स. ये प्रॉमिस होता है इन्वेस्टर्स को कि आज आप हमारे को पैसा दे दो, हम आपको दैट इज ये पैसा एक स्पेसिफाइड डेट पे, वहां पे डेट मेंशन होता है, वहां पे हम आपको लौटा देंगे. ठीक है. कमर्शियल पेपर अगेन आई रिपीट, कंपनीज इशू करती है. कमर्शियल पेपर्स आर बीइंग इशूड बाय कंपनीज. वंस अगेन आई रिपीट, कमर्शियल पेपर्स आर बीइंग इशूड बाय कंपनीज. वंस अगेन आई रिपीट, कमर्शियल पेपर्स आर इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय और इशूड बाय कंपनीज to the investors. Instead of going to bank they go to investors. And investors, because if with bank there is a lot of amount of paperwork which is involved, so they resist to going to bank and they can go to investors के पास से पैसा लिया जाता है और उनको प्रॉमिस किया जाता है हम आपको आपका पैसा लौटा देंगे स्पेसिफाइड डेट पे, and the paper is being handed. It is a proof that they have invested into the company's commercial paper. That way it is. The concept was being introduced by Bagul group, that is Bagul committee introduced the concept in the year January 1990. That way it is. So commercial paper are being introduced by companies. Commercial papers are introduced by companies. Company issue करती है commercial paper short term needs के लिए. Next, certificate of deposit. Now certificate of deposits, again who issue that is certificate of deposit? Certificate of deposits, just a second, yeah, okay. So guys, let's move forward. There is a certificate of deposits. As I'll tell you, certificate of deposits means what? It is basically a certificate of deposit is a scheme which is being introduced by the banks wherein you can keep your money. If I wanted to keep my money not for long term but for short term, in that is deposit with bank. So it is a kind of FD only, but we are keeping this FD for a shorter duration. Generally our FDs are for longer durations, but certificate of deposit scheme, I invest in the bank for a shorter duration. I can keep the money for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months and up to 12 months. And if it is more than 12 months, then it would not be a money market instrument. Yeah, okay. See, RBI introduced certificate of deposit scheme in the year 1989. Okay, the object is to further widen the range of money market. Okay, so basically who are the issuers? So basically yeah, so deposit, certificate of deposit, CDs are issued by banks against deposit kept by individuals, companies. So anyone can invest. Companies can also invest in certificate of deposit. Bank can also invest. One bank can also invest in another. Okay, companies can invest. Investors, individuals, we as individuals can invest. Okay, another institutions can invest. Now at the same time, any non-resident NRI can also invest. Example, there is SBI Bank who has introduced 8 months certificate of deposit scheme. I invested 8,000 in that. One of my friend which is NRI, he has also invested in that. He has invested 20,000. Now what happened? We'll get the interest and we'll get the principal amount both back. Now can NRI invest? Yes sir, any individual can invest, any person can invest into that is something which is called as certificate of deposits. So it is a short-term deposit which we can keep with bank and bank will return that principal with along with interest. So that is going to work out. Now what has happened? That NRI, my friend, non-resident Indian, he was of USA, he invested in that SBI's certificate of deposit scheme. Now he can invest, the answer is he can invest, but the fund shall be non-repatriable. इसका मतलब वो पैसे अपने कंट्री में लेकर नहीं जा सकता. द फंड्स आर नॉट ट्रांसफरेबल टू हिज ओन कंट्री. ही विल हैव टू यूटिलाइज द फंड्स हियर इटसेल्फ. सो द फंड्स आर नॉट ट्रांसफरेबल. That way it is called non-repatriation basis. NRI can also make investment in CD, but the funds are non-repatriation. He cannot take that funds along with him. So he'll have to expend that over here itself. That way it is. Okay. Moving forward, interbank term money market. Now interbank term money market का मतलब क्या? I'll tell you. I hope you remember that is first example Kotak Bank and SBI Bank. Kotak Bank was having less reserve which was required to, CRR and SLR was required to be maintained. So they were maintaining 20 crore but suddenly they gave a loan of that is some that is some more amount, and that 20 crore fall to 18 crore. Now the limit was 20 crore, 20 crore was required to be maintained in the form of reserve ratio, but they breached the limit, so they borrowed the money from another bank. So basically, if they borrow for one night, it is called as a call money. If they borrowed for more than one but up to 14 days, it is called as a notice money, and the interest rate is called as a call money market. Further, if bank wanted to borrow money from each other, further if bank wanted to borrow money from each other for more than 14 days, but up to 90 days, if they wanted to money, if they wanted to borrow money for more than 14 days, but up to 14 days, so it is notice money. But more than 14 days they want, but up to 90 days, it is something called as a interbank term money market, interbank term money market, that way. So this market in which banks alone, both commercial bank, they borrow and lend funds from each other for the period over 14 days and generally up to 90 days. So no collateral security, no securities required to be given, कुछ गिरवी रखने की जरूरत नहीं है, एक बैंक दूसरे बैंक के पास से पैसा ले सकती है, that way. In that case वो कुछ गिरवी नहीं मांगेगी, आप एक दूसरे के पास से पैसा ले दे सकते हो अगर more than 14 days है, but up to अगर 19 days है, अगर more than 14 days है and अगर up to 90 days है, it is called as a interbank term money market, that way. और आपको आपसे मैं इंटरेस्ट रेट चार्ज करूंगा, जो देगी बैंक लोन उसको इंटरेस्ट रेट चार्ज करेगी, that way. And the last but not least, that is collateral loan market. In the collateral loan market, what happens is, in the collateral loan market, here in the given case, what happens is, you go to bank, you can borrow money from bank, but you have to give government securities. So bank give loan on the basis of government. आप बैंक के पास जाइए, आप आपके पास अगर गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी उनके पास गिरवी रखी है और बैंक आपको क्या कर देगी, लोन दे देगी. ये देखो यहाँ पे बोला है, it deals in collateral loans. These loans are backed by security. In this market, commercial banks provide loan against the government securities and bonds. You have to give government securities and bonds. अगर आपके पास government security आपके पास गिरवी रखी है और बैंक आपको लोन दे देगी. That way it was. So finally, this was the topic which was end, that is money and banking also. Kindly study well and all the best. Yeah. Okay.